Hello, 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 and welcome to the Badabinshow. I am one of your hosts, Dave, and down there in the bottom corner is my pal and partner in crime, Chris. Chris, it's a few days after the fact, but I guess I'm obligated to say, how you doing? How you doing?
Hey, how
Happy
are
New
you?
Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm at like 80% today, maybe 80%.
Oh, because of your health.
My health is weird
Yeah.
this week. Yes, my wife got sick over the weekend, and I'm in denial about being ill,
Okay.
which is usually how I deal with illness. I usually go into deep denial, say because once you admit it, you're done.
hmm
So I've been fighting it. I'm fighting the nothing that I have. Um,
Okay, that works.
but
We'll call it the
but
nothing. I like that. That's great.
there you
Very
go. There you go.
never-ending
It's like
story.
never-ending story.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Atreyu. So not that I'm much use here at my best. You're going to be driving
Oh,
this one, I think.
here we go. Right off the cliff,
Thelma
baby.
Louise. Yep.
Yeah, indeed. Well, hey, man, I'm still glad you made it out today.
Oh yeah.
When I say made it out, make it into your office more appropriately, and you're able
I
to.
made it up the flight of
There
stairs.
you
Yep.
go. We're able to shoot the breeze a little bit.
Sure.
Now, before you leapt in and wanted to inform everybody about your nothingness,
Yes.
I was going to ask you because I don't quite remember, so I was going to pick your
hmm
brain on this. The Larry
Yeah.
David New Year's greeting thing. How long was that? What was the buffer on that? Do you
Oh
remember?
boy, I don't remember.
I don't remember if it was a day, a week, or whatever, but I remember him and Mocha Joe
Yeah.
getting into the whole thing. So I didn't know if I was still within that time
In
frame.
the window. I'm
Yeah,
sure. I mean, it's only 2 days later. Yeah.
yeah, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And it's our first. It's basically our first time
Mm.
back. So I mean, I think that gets us a pass as
Yeah,
well.
it's the first episode of 2025.
Yeah.
This is episode
There you go.
20.
How about
Can
that?
you believe it? Oh my gosh, we're in our
Insane.
by modern comic book terms, we'd be in what, like our fourth arc, our fourth trade?
we're in. We're what do they call it when oh boy, when like a woman like in her 30s gets pregnant? It's like a something pregnancy. It's like a late something pregnancy. That's what we're in right now for
Oh,
modern comic parlance here. We're
okay.
like elderly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're over the hill.
oh my gosh, I can't
You
believe
know.
it. And we're still not old enough to buy alcohol. So go
Nope.
figure. We're old yet not old enough.
It's true.
What are you
It's
gonna do?
true. Yeah.
Now, I do think it was funny that you had mentioned I'll be driving the Bada Bin ship today,
Hmm.
which we all know isn't true. Okay, we are co-captains on this journey of comics fandom here. But I did
Hmm.
recently take a road trip with my family because I had some time off
There you
post
go.
Christmas, and
Hmm.
the wife and I decided what's the best way to utilize this and have fun as a family with our time antiquing. Much to
Hey.
my son's dismay, who's 12 years old. Even though, to be honest with you, I think modern antique shops and flea markets are far cooler in many aspects than they were when I
When we
was
were
his age.
kids.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Because if you
Yeah.
had
Like
said,
doilies and tea sets. Yeah.
right, I love a good
Yeah.
doily. Don't get me wrong. But even then, like the action figures and stuff were like, oh, this is like an old beat up GI Joe.
Yeah.
Now it's collector's paradise everywhere you go, one way or another. No matter
Sure.
what antique mall you're at or something, you're at least gonna find one kiosk.
Funko Pops.
There you go. And he's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna go check that out." Okay, shoo, have fun, enjoy all of that, but
Do the thing.
do the thing. And so we were doing our whole antiquing extravaganza here, and my wife was like, "Hey, here in Texas, they have one town takes credit for having the world's largest flea market. They do it like
Okay.
once a month." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "All right, you sure it's open?" She's like, "Yeah, I checked their website. Let's go." I'm like, "All right, you
Cool.
verified it. I'm just along for the ride, babe. Let's hit it.
Hmm.
Let's see what it's all about." Of course, in the back of my head, I'm like, they're gonna charge me for parking. I know it.
Oh yeah. Or entry.
You know,
Or and entry.
yeah, there you go. And so, but still, I'm
Yeah.
trying to be in a good mood. Yes, man, I'm on
Sure.
vacation.
Of course.
All right, so long story short, we drive an hour to this town called Canton. The
Hmm.
town itself is nothing to brag about. It's really quite a boring little burg.
Hmm.
But we go and we see all these signs. It's called, I think it was First Monday for anybody who might be aware of it. All right, First Monday coming up, coming up, coming up. Wait, that parking lot's empty. There's another parking lot that says $5 over here. That's empty. Rut row. And sure enough, we end up rolling directly into the grounds that would normally home flea market, and nobody is there.
Oh
So I
boy.
hop on my phone. I'm like, "Oh, babe, this was the beginning of the month, not the end of the month."
Oh.
And so she's like,
Oh, first Monday.
"There we
Yeah.
go." So she's like, "Oh, I'm so, of
Yeah.
course that didn't dawn on us. We don't know. We're rubes.
Sure.
We're
Sure.
tourists,
Okay.
baby." And so we're like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" And so we pull over, and I'm about to Google comic shops in the area, and no sooner
Mm-hmm.
than I do that, than out of the corner of my eye, I see this little hole in the wall. Looks almost like a toy shop, kind of, from the window.
Mm-hmm.
Going out of business. Uh, 50 to 90% off, whatever sign. I'm like, what? Boom, ears perk up.
Of course.
I tell my son, you coming in with me. My wife's like, well, I'm chilling in the car. I'm like, that's probably good for your sanity.
Mm-hmm.
We're going in.
And her sense of smell.
You know what? You're onto something there. Because this place was called S&J Comics, yet again in Canton, Texas. I
Mm-hmm.
was about to reach for my phone for the name, but I did Google it pre-show to kind of give myself a heads
There
up.
you go.
And when I say they were going out of business, man, everything had to go to the point when I walked in, they were literally cutting lights with scissors and tearing racks off the wall.
Oh damn.
So I really didn't get a good picture of what this store was.
In its glory days,
Exactly.
or glory day.
They were just gutting. And even to the point
Yeah.
where they had a lot of bins, right?
Mhm.
So, of course, my juices are flowing.
Sure.
This is, and of course, it stunk. So,
Place you've never been.
as you
Yeah.
mentioned, it smells a little funky. So I'm like,
Of course.
I'm ready to dig. But they had random crap on top of the bins. Like one of them had a stack of like 6 tennis rackets. What do they got 6 tennis rackets for?
Jim Cornette fans.
Yeah, maybe. I couldn't begin to tell you other than that. I mean, like just stuff everywhere. And it was
Cool,
only
okay.
cash.
Okay, it makes sense.
Well, I only had like $6 on me because I don't really carry cash. I detest
Yeah, same.
carrying paper money.
Yeah.
Luckily, my
Yeah, I have a slim wallet, so it doesn't fit anything except like a credit card
Oh.
and a license.
really my wallet is not slim, but I have so much junk in there. Every receipt from like,
You got the Costanza,
dude,
the-
yeah, exactly. Like it will not close. Because for some reason I keep every receipt since I purchased the wallet. Well, it was a gift, but since it was gifted to me like 3 years ago. So anyway, back to this whole comic shop situation.
Sure.
So I'm kind of like listening to people. My son, he doesn't want any part of it. He's kind of like, yeah, I saw what I had to see. I'm out. I'm going back to the car.
Not even the tennis rackets kept them entertained.
No. I was like, hey man, those would really
Kids these days.
those would service as excellent snowshoes. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
You could be a pro wrestling manager.
He saw like a Mario figure on the wall or something.
All right.
But these, I don't know what it is, man. And living in Texas can be really hard for me sometimes. And I know I've kind of gone above and beyond in the wrong direction, abusing the accents I hear here,
Shaming the South.
shaming the South a little bit. But the owners of the store definitely has some thick accents going on, and I'm like,
All right.
I don't know if I want to engage. Plus, like I said, I heard them talking to people, and they were just like, "Yeah, rip that down, move this. I don't care." Like I honestly thought in my head these people owed someone money, and like
It's always like the circus model, like just tearing down and getting out of town.
right, like or the mob was about to come. And fit them for cement galoshes if they weren't out by 7 p.m. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it seemed like a drastic situation.
Sure.
I don't know where I was really going with that, except for maybe potentially just saying I really struggle with the Texas or the Southern twang. But anyway, all right. Long story short, let me just nip this in the bud. I did end up picking up a few books, nothing major. I didn't see anything particularly special there, and plus, with that whole 50 to 90% off range, I wasn't sure.
That's a big range. Yeah.
I wasn't in the mood for haggling or anything. But as luck
Yeah.
would have it, I went up with 4 books and she said $4. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
very cool. All right.
sounds good to me. And the cover price, I mean, not the cover price, the sticker price rather varied
Of course.
on these offerings. So she just was like, I don't know. I could
Get 'em
have,
out.
I probably could have said to her like, hey, I'll buy all these for $0.25. But
Potentially.
she would have said yeah. There was actually, just to kind of go back real quick, someone came in. I guess they, and this is your thing. They had some wrestling figs or something.
All
And the
right.
guy was interested in him, and she was like, well, make me an offer. And the guy was actually trying to be like, well, what I might offer you isn't quite fair because you got quite a bit of stuff here. And she's like, I don't care. Everything has to go. And
Just get 'em out,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
like $160 he paid. I don't even know what the hell
Okay.
it was. Because, you start talking about modern wrestling, it's like Charlie Brown's
Sure.
teacher with me. But I have the bag here as I triumphantly hold it over my head.
There you
Ah,
go.
Dollar Comics. So, one comic I bought, I had to get
Hmm.
because it was hearkening to those nostalgic notes of my childhood. And also, I'm a Conan fan.
Hmm.
And this cover is just like a straight up banger, bro. And that's Conan the Barbarian 239 from 1990.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can get a good glimpse of this cover with the glare I get going on here.
No, you're in good in a good view there.
This is a Hartle DiCarlo banger. But
Hmm.
dude, like the colors, everything, this cover just pops, man.
It does.
And I remember just like this era of Conan just
Hmm.
kicking my butt when I was basically my son's age, you know?
Sure, sure.
So I was like, hey, I'll pick it up. Why not? I don't see it in the wild very often. Do you? I'm sure you do. You get a lot of honey holes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Conan in the bins by me.
Yeah, but is there a lot of Conan 239?
Potentially. I usually just glaze
Well,
over.
buy
You
them
know me.
all. Make this copy worth $1 million. Now, I guess I'm going to show this one next because this is such a product of the Bada Bin's favoritism for a certain franchise. I
Hmm.
mean, I still got to fill holes just like anybody else, right? I mean,
Is this another Guy Fieri?
this is not. No, we're going to get into our pal Guy in a little bit. I know I wasn't going to, but now I'm not letting you off the hook because you had to bring him up. But we both have this non-love for the Legion of Superheroes.
Yes.
And
There you
here's an
go.
action I definitely needed to fill a hole. This is during the John's Gary Frank run.
Yep.
And it's featuring our favorite bleh, Legion of Superheroes. So I immediately,
Legion.
I texted you right away.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is the most Bada Bin back issue of all time. This one, you actually made a comment because apparently it was one of the last triangles you needed to collect.
Oh, it was the last triangle I had to
Oh,
collect.
okay.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to find that one.
Really?
Yeah, it's because it's what anytime I'm looking for something like that's like the last thing I need to find, it's
Uh-huh.
always something that could be in various places in in the shop because like is it a one shot? Because there's a mini series
Mm-hmm.
that was following up on that came out. I think it was our friend Fabian Not So Nice show.
Okay.
And that was the first time I saw Fabian on a non-Marvel book, or actually paid attention and realized I'm like, wow, he does stuff for not Marvel, not realizing that he was like the editor in chief for Acclaim at the time. But I was looking for that, and it got to the point where I was actually like sending messages to the local shops. It's like I can't drive 60 damn miles for this Superman of America one shot.
Yeah.
Because the miniseries is not triangle numbered. That's the only thing that's triangle numbered. And so I sent messages around and like I get replies like I think we have it. It's like could you just look?
Yeah.
I don't want to drive all the way down there. Wound up finding it in a 50-cent bin not too long later after my real exhaustive hunt started. But I found that and the 6-issue miniseries all in a bundle in a 50-cent bin. Very very weird. But I've never read it. Doesn't look great.
It's not that whole the whole Superman of America thing. There was a character what was his name because he was saved from Doomsday by Superman.
Hmm. Oh,
Uh,
that kid. The kid.
Outblast. I'm gonna look right now. I'm sure it's in here.
Was it the kid from?
Outburst. I'm sorry. Outburst.
Yeah, the skateboarding kid with the backwoods hat from the Doomsday Story,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he ends up becoming Outburst. It's so funny. It's like on page one here because I was going to show you real quick.
Hmm.
The membership kit is still intact.
Nice.
So that's always fun too. So I guess you know what,
Yeah.
the comic may not be great, but for a guy especially like you, it has the
It's got the
ephemera.
ephemera. It's got the
So
ephemera.
yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, this whole
And I can guarantee zero
scenario,
people cut that out because who the hell would want it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh wait, what's going on here? Ooh, this is weird. It has a
Hmm.
loose page in here.
Uh-oh. No.
27, 28,
Oh
29.
man.
But what is going on? This is really strange because what would they have cut out? it's like a perfectly straight cut. I wonder if this is like some form of error.
It's probably an error.
This is really weird. But as
Yeah.
someone who worked in printing for a long time, I don't really see how that could have happened either.
Maybe it was just a dickhead working there. It's like, I'm going to ruin this guy's copy of Superman of America, #1.
Well, with your story about having to drive 60 miles and whatnot,
Mm.
I have seen this issue before.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't bid on it. So you know what I might do now that this page is missing? It's been
Hmm.
revealed here on Bada Bin
Mm-hmm.
exclusively. I
Yes.
might go for... There we go. I might go for the ephemera on this and just buy another copy of it.
Oh, there you go.
Because it's not, again, it's like I can get it online for like
Oh, it's a
$1.50,
dollar
$2,
book.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, that's a buck book for sure. And it's one that I'm sure I saw a million times,
Uh-huh.
but didn't realize there was a triangle number on it.
Okay.
So I didn't bite on it.
It's so funny.
But then when my mission became get every triangle number book, that was the last one.
Yeah. It's so funny I decided to open it on air.
Yeah, and it had a defect.
We had this discovery.
Yeah.
And then I guess last of my tour de force of dollar books here. I don't know if this is intact or not. You know what, though? They had it priced for $4, by the way, the Superman of America. So if they knew there was a page in there floating around like that and $4...
Maybe, yeah, that's the variant.
I'm going to call the Mafia myself and tell them to go...
Mm-hmm. They're still open.
No, I think they're closed. Because like that day, man, she was like, tell everybody you know. Tell anybody you see to come down here and buy some stuff. I'm like, yeah, sure, lady. And then, last but not least, the official writer of one of our favorite writers here at Bada Bin, Kurt Busiek. And then you got some Brad Walker cover art here on action. Brad Walker is a very good artist, in my humble opinion. And interestingly enough, I didn't notice this either. On the back, there is a stamp for a different comic shop.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if they're still open and available.
About that. Yeah, I see that a lot when I'm in the bins, like just the stamps for like comic shops in different states, even because people just dump their collections at these secondhand shops. It's always fun to have that bit in your collection.
Yeah, and I'll see it again from time to time. I just didn't know it was there when I bought it. I was just kind of like, I gotta get the hell out of here. My family's waiting in the car. I gotta go. You know what I mean? That was the whole thing with that. But that was my little $4 haul from a defunct shop. Dave visits a defunct shop. So yeah, that was kind of fun. At least, like it to me, like even though there was a mishap in our plans, which could have easily been avoided,
Sure.
Had we done just a small sliver of research before we ventured. Again, it was a haul. It was a hike. It wasn't 20 minutes.
How far a drive is
It
it?
was a little bit over an hour.
Okay.
And then, of course, we get to stop at the Buc-ee's.
Okay.
So that's, cha-ching. So there you go. That cost me a mint and everything else. But we still had fun as
What
a
do you
family.
get at a Buc-ee's?
What don't you get at a Buc-ee's? That's the silliest question I ever heard.
One opened here like maybe 20 minutes away. I haven't gone because there's nothing else to do out where it opened.
Yeah.
It's in a town called Avondale, which it's west of Phoenix. So the only reason you'd go there is if you're coming to Phoenix or going home and you live over there.
Sure.
I have no reason to go over there. So I don't even know if it would be worth the drive.
Well, if you want some Buc-ee's memorabilia, a.k.a. propaganda, you definitely go there since they have T-shirts and hats and mugs and everything galore. They have in-house, they make their own jerky. There are people that make barbecue sandwiches and cowboy hats in the middle of the store right in front of you. It's basically, if you could think of the greatest roadside convenience store you've ever stopped at in a highway and then throw it on immeasurable amounts of steroids, you have Buc-ee's. They advertise having the cleanest bathrooms around. It's a guarantee.
Oh, very nice.
My God, the one we just went to, they had a car wash. It was the best car wash we ever used. It was it felt like it was a mile long. Tons of snacks. I mean, just you really, I will go blue in the face trying to describe Buc-ee's to you. So you should do yourself a favor and just take the 20 minutes
make the drive.
and just drive over there and check it out. And then you get back to me and you say yay or nay or whatever. But what I will testify to is that when you were in a car with your family for a long stretch of time and you see that sign for the Buc-ee's, you might as well have seen the pearly gates inviting you to heaven. Because once you know you get there, okay, like I said, all the accommodations they have that are amazingly clean and well kept and everything, you have a smorgasbord of options to feed yourself or clothe yourself or distract yourself, you know. Plus, if you go, this was on a Sunday when we went to First Monday. That should have been a clue too. But like the place is packed. So if you have like any form of like, being afraid of
social
people,
phobias,
yeah, exactly. Stay away from Buc-ee's because you will be shoulder to shoulder with people.
Oh damn!
Yeah, the place is always packed. It's an institution more than it is a giant gas station, and the gas prices always tend to be cheaper than your local stations as well. So.
No, I do like a place advertising the cleanest bathrooms.
Oh, dude.
Because when I was over the road doing windshields, we have a Quick Trip out here. I don't know if you have Quick Trips out there.
Yeah.
And they were like, because like you can go to a Circle K, but it's like you'd have to like step over syringes to get to the toilet.
Right.
So you don't go there. 7-Eleven, same thing. But Quick Trip was clean for the most part. And then I went into one and saw an old man pooping in the urinal.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm done.
Well,
never seen this before, and I hopefully never see it again. But it's not Quick Trip's fault. But
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking. It took me a second to like dawn on me about the. I'm sorry. Somebody's trying to call me. Maybe it's the old man. He's like, I'm on YouTube.
I want to tell my side of the story.
Exactly, but I'm just imagining the accuracy involved because.
I mean,
what is that?
Yeah.
Really? Because there's a small space that he's utilizing that normally would require.
It's not like he's sitting on a funnel. I mean, he's got to he's got to have a little bit of a
hands on knees. They're like, hey there, stranger. You've come to the right place. You ever see that movie, Moving Violations?
No.
Okay. Well, there's a scene where this senior citizen, a lady, confuses the men's room for the ladies' restroom, and she sits on a urinal.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what it also makes me think of.
Yeah, it was like one of the I walk in, turned around, and walked out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, I can't.
Well, you're absolutely right though, because cleanliness in public restrooms is like a lost.
Oh yeah.
Concept. It's a lost art. You know.
Even the ones that have like the keypads. You know, it's like and that's always embarrassing.
A keypad.
Like what?
I don't know if you had. No, I've never
really like okay, because like we'll have areas in town here that are not in the best neighborhoods. So like you go to the bathroom and it's locked. And there's a keypad above the handle. So then you have to like make that really embarrassing walk to the counter and be like, can I have the code to the bathroom? Like announcing to the world, like I really have to go to the bathroom.
Well, I mean, I've seen like a key on a hubcap kind of thing.
Oh yeah, at the gas station,
but not a keypad. Like you need a retinal scan.
Yeah, you need the thumbprint. Yeah,
yeah.
And so like you go and then you do the code, you get in there, and it's still destroyed. It's like, oh man, what's even the point? I guess you don't have to take. There's no heroin needles in there, I guess, or not as many. But yeah, it's not pleasant. So yes, lost art.
Then definitely take the 20 minutes today, drive over to Buc-ee's.
Go to Buc-ee's.
Admire their restrooms. Just walk in, do your business, turn around, go home, and go, from now on, I know exactly where I need to go if I need to go.
There you go.
You know? I actually have a T-shirt, a Buc-ee's T-shirt, which I'm too lazy to get up and show you right now. And I forget. What's that?
Does it talk about the toilet?
It essentially does. It's like if you got to go, this is the place to go. Something like that. I'll find it for you, and maybe I'll bring it next week.
There you go.
But I bought it immediately because I'm like, I can't believe there's a T-shirt basically saying we have the best restrooms.
Poop here.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, and they always have an attendant in there working, cleaning, making sure everything. And there's like 8,000 urinals. So.
Oh, it's like at the airport.
Dude, yes, no joke.
Yeah.
We are a big Buc-ee's loving. I think anybody who's been to Buc-ee's loves it. So I don't think there's anybody out there who's like, yeah, screw that place. That place sucks. And
crazy.
Another reason why it's hard to hate on it is anytime you encounter one of the first things you see is a sign saying what they pay employees.
Hmm.
And it's not like, whoa, but you know for a fact if someone's working at Walmart for whatever amount, they're making like $3 more an hour just to work at Bucky's.
Sure.
So they're paying their people well, and everybody seems to be
Yeah.
happy that's working there. And dude, like every time I leave, I say to my wife and my kid, like, can you imagine how much money they're making
Oh,
today?
that place makes. Yeah.
That's
Sure.
like it's insane. It's almost obscene, really, just crazy. But yeah, so that's your homework assignment.
There we
So
go.
next Bada Bin episode number 21, I expect Chris to have his Bucky's
My
bathroom
Bucky
review.
hat. Yep.
Hey, we got hats here. We got the T-shirts. Like I said, I don't even have just one Bucky's T-shirt. I got like 6 of them
Oh,
because they
damn.
make them for everything. Not only with those little
Hmm.
slogans I was telling you about for Christmas, for Easter, for Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Dude, yeah, it's something else. So,
Hmm.
but unfortunately,
Interesting.
this is not the Bucky's edition of Bada Bin.
True. Well, it kind of is.
Well, yeah,
But,
all right, but we might want to
de facto.
nip that in the bud before
De
people.
facto defalco.
Yeah, right, malted. Before someone says, what did I tune in for? I thought they were talking about comics and action figures and stuff.
Bada Buckies.
And
Yeah.
all they're doing is talking about restroom
gas
experiences at
station.
gas
Yeah.
stations. Yeah. So I think I would like to transition into something that I acquired this week because my stuff is
Sure.
always cooler than everybody else's stuff.
That's true.
And it is, no, well, pun intended, I suppose, one of the coolest things I've ever acquired.
Hmm.
So much so that I'm going to not pick it up and not
Okay.
present it to anyone in front of my humble webcam here.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to go full screen real quick so maybe people can see it above my shoulder. Can you see it here? There is a
I can
Hulk,
see it.
a Hulk
Oh,
figure.
there you go. The other way.
Ah, there we go.
There you go.
Wrong way. There we go. A Hulk figure right there above my shoulder.
Mhm.
Now, this Hulk figure, and this is convenient too because the packaging actually comes with a reprint comic, which I can't wait to slab so I can trick everybody into thinking it's the real
Yeah.
deal, of Incredible Hulk number 345. So it comes with the comic
Oh, it's even got the off-color
corner box.
corner box.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that
Yeah,
cool?
interesting.
That's
Yeah.
the back though is lame.
Oh, and it's got the stupid Marvel thing on the bottom left
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Or the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
I hate that logo so much.
oh, it's the box. Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's awful.
It does suck.
Yeah, there's no imagination there.
There really isn't. But you know what? It ain't going nowhere. It sticks.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But because I'm not willing to pull that figure down, because okay, couple reasons. One, I'm afraid I'm going to drop it,
Sure.
and it's so I love it so much I don't want to even handle it or potentially mess it up. And
Yep.
two, man, it's a big boy. It's chunky. It's hefty.
Yeah, you had to hire the Del Rubio triplets to help you get it in the house.
I did. They sang.
Yeah.
They put it on.
They did. They sang the Neutron
They
dance.
sang the
Yeah.
neutron dance. They put it in a flat and they wheeled it in. But what I did do is take a few pictures to show everybody in more detail just how crazy awesome this figure really is. So, Chris, you can't see these, unfortunately,
Okay.
but I have sent you these pictures before.
Yes,
When I
yes.
described my excitement, my sheer, just complete. I couldn't control myself with how
It was
excited
ecstasy.
it was. It was pure ecstasy. But yes, of this figure. So, what I'm showing right now is like a full form of the Hulk fig, which, you know, if you kind of look close enough, you'll see there's some definite details in here. And of course, it's based on that iconic cover in Todd McFarlane art. So, but what really impressed me the most is, other than the fact that it's just so thick and husky and big, is that there are tons of details in there, to the point where I don't know how they even did it. You know, they could have skipped or skimped on some of these details and kind of said, well, we're already giving you about like 20 pounds worth of plastic, or at least it feels that way. It's probably only like 4 or 5 pounds. But I should weigh it. That's what I should do before I start
Yeah.
speaking, because someone's going to like write in and go, Dave, you're full of crap, man.
That's 3 pounds 12 ounces.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you talking about? You don't know anything
Jerk.
about weights, you moron. But
We measure this in kilograms.
but still, all the detail they put in with the paint, with the texture, everything. I am
No,
just,
it looks like the cover brought to life.
dude. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And I think what really shocks me the most is if someone told me this was like a $100 or $200 thing, I'd be like, okay,
Sure, sure.
sounds legit. Maybe I won't
Yeah.
pay it because I'm a cheapskate, but I could certainly understand that. But dude, it was 50 freaking bucks.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
It's not bad at all. I mean, there are
Nah.
so many McFarlanes I've gotten since I collect so many where I'm like,
Mm.
eh, was it really worth this? I mean, come
Did
on.
the Hulk come with a horse?
No, no. Unlike the Jonah Hex, he did not come with a horse. But it's great that you brought that up because,
Mm.
much akin to the Jonah Hex, I'm thinking about buying like a protective case, like some
Okay,
kind
yeah,
of
that's
like.
not a bad idea. Because that's gonna be a bitch to dust.
Exactly. There are
A
so many
lot of
little nooks and
detail.
crannies in there.
Yep.
And that's something that's preventing me from opening the Jonah Hex fig as well because he has like a
Sure.
cloth cape and everything else.
Okay.
Statues, they're a little smoother for the most part. But this
And they
thing,
don't have the articulation. I mean, it's because
some.
the stuff will get in there. Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
Hulk figure in particular, man, holy moly! There's so many little divots and little notches and
Sure.
little everything else in it,
Wrinkles.
wrinkles.
Yeah.
He's like a giant, beautiful prune. I have
Hmm.
taken to calling him my precious in my home.
There you go.
Like I swear to God, like my son was like, Dad, what are you looking at? I'm like, oh, my Hulk fig. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just looking at my Hulk fig. Just admiring it, just completely in love with it. So yeah, if you are a Hulk fan, or if you're just like a fan of the era of the late '80s Marvel scene, man, I
Mm,
definitely recommend, or just action figures, pick it up.
sure.
I can't give it a higher recommendation,
Mm.
other than the fact I can't possibly pick it up and show you without kind of sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so probably gonna do the glass case, protect that. But that leads me to ask you,
Mm.
because maybe I'm just a filthy human being. I don't know.
Okay.
I once read a book called Bright Lights Big City, where
Michael J. Fox.
that was the movie. I don't think I've seen the movie.
Me either.
But in this book, he's going through a breakup. He's really bummed out, and he brought up how dander, someone's dander. It takes like so long for the dander to finally like evaporate or disappear.
Okay.
So even though it'd been like 5 years since you broke up with someone, 10 years,
Yeah,
there's still
the
trace.
skin cells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's still traces of them in your home, and it's always grossed me out a little bit because you can look at it in
Mhm.
two ways. It's almost romantic, right? And the other way is absolutely disgusting. But I
Sure.
get a lot of dust, man. I don't know what's going on in my home. I have air
Mm.
purifiers, fans,
Mhm.
but I have to dust my figs quite frequently.
Okay.
So you currently are sitting in front of a very massive bookshelf, and you got some
Mhm.
knickknacks and tchotchkes on there.
Yeah.
Do you have to dust often, or am I just that
I dust every
dirty
week.
guy? Oh, you do. Okay, but
Yeah.
is it out of habit or necessity?
Habit. Habit. Now, let's see. Do I have? See if there's any dust on the duck here. No, no, he's good.
Because you just dusted them 2 days ago.
Well, actually, I don't think I've ever dusted this.
Okay.
Yeah. But we actually just put a purifier on our air conditioning unit in the attic.
Hmm.
Because we before we moved back into this house, we tore up the tile. The whole downstairs is tile, and we tore it up to put wood down. And you would think that you walked into like, I don't know, like a dust tsunami. It
Wow.
was just a disaster
Yeah.
uh, from busting up all the tile. So we finally put in a UV light, what do they call it, like an air scrubber. So it's like at the intake of the air conditioner. We did that like 3 or 4 weeks ago and noticed a pretty dramatic difference in how much, because it doesn't really get dusty up here, up in the second story, but the first story was real bad.
Okay.
But yeah, we're good now.
Well, hey, man. As being a collector as long as I have been, like I try to take care of my figs and stuff like that. But then
Sure.
there are those special occasions where I'm like now,
Mhm.
where I'm thinking I need to definitely do better. I used to have a nice curio cabinet that was like this sealed glass thing. It was all lit up and
Sure.
stuff. And this is many, many years ago. And boy, do I ever regret not taking better care of that and having it with me today,
Mm.
because it would save me and my thumbs some effort from scrolling on Amazon looking for various display options for some of my figs. And even beyond all that, I was talking about the road trip and antiquing earlier.
Yeah.
My wife has this little hobby where she likes to collect miniature tea sets,
Okay.
like porcelain. She found one that was actually made out of wood and things,
Interesting.
and she doesn't have a good enough place to display them. And she's not like
Mm.
me. She wouldn't have this, like what you see behind you,
Sure.
or and all the boxes I have and different things. It drives her absolutely mad that I do, you know.
Girls are different.
Yeah, she's like looking for a more tasteful way of
Of
displaying
course.
things, and I'm trying to give her options. And then she's like, "Yeah, well, that's kind of nice, but then where would I exactly put it? Would I do this or that, or the living room? Would it make sense?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Me, I just slap up a bookshelf, throw a few figs on there. I'm ready to go, baby."
Oh, yeah, this morning I put together a cube set to put in the closet here because I'm running. I got no room,
Mm-hmm.
so I put together a cube thing just to give me a second and third shelf in the closet.
Was it
So it's
one
a
of those cube things that has like those little corner brackets, like the little black balls, and you kind of push the thing in there? Or is that
a
too?
what now?
Okay, that's probably way too ghetto for you. You probably get all your stuff at IKEA, right?
Oh, this was Target, I
Target.
think.
All right, there we go.
Yeah,
Target.
yeah. I don't know if I can spin it around
Let's
to
see.
show.
Spin
Can
it.
you? Oh, there we go. There we go.
Hold on.
There's
Let me put you full screen so we can get the full
yeah.
experience of your closet.
Yeah, it's there. You can see the thing.
Oh yeah, it's almost like
Yeah.
it's almost like one of those things you see for like a shoe rack or something people might use.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the my magazine rack is all my wizards are down in the bottom thing
Oh,
there,
okay.
and then I had like my comics journals and stuff that were just like on that shelf laying down sideways.
Uh huh.
So I fixed it and gave myself some more
Very
shelves.
good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the thing I'm talking about is like anybody would know if you're not willing to spend on like shelving or save. I mean, like space saving stuff. They'll come
Yeah.
with like panels, but then there's like little black knobs or little round edges pieces, and you pop.
Mhm.
You gotta assemble it yourself.
Oh, like dowels?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you can.
No, there were dowels there.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a little
I think
cheapo
that was
depot
that was
stuff.
probably $20. Yeah.
We get a couple of those again for shoe racks and stuff over here in the corner and
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, and I'm not looking to break the bank if I buy a couple cases for these figs. Like this whole thing, as far as I'm
Sure,
concerned, as
sure.
long as it's got the right size and dust
Yeah,
cannot penetrate the little case. If it's like $20, sounds good. We
Yeah, I mean that was $20. Yeah.
we hit up Hobby Lobby and they were having a big sale. I know you're a big fan of the Lob.
I worked there
Yes.
for about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get the inside knowledge, the inside
Yeah.
track on the Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, my interview was, "How's your back?"
Because we're gonna break
That
it.
was my interview, and I'm like, "It's fine." He's like, "Okay, you start Monday."
Yeah.
That was my whole interview because we were building a new Hobby Lobby,
Okay.
and so I was there for the build. They put me on register one time, and then they're like, "Hey, we gotta let you go." I'm like, "What did I do wrong?" Like, "Oh, we just have too many people."
Oh, okay.
Like, "Oh," so I was just there to help put up gondolas and aisles and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
They were like, "All right, we got what we needed out of this guy. Send him packing."
That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they put me in floral, so I worked in floral, and and that encompassed the wedding stuff, and I guess the wedding stuff is some of the most highly shoplifted stuff
Oh, okay.
in the store. So I would always like every day I'd be like, "Here's everything that was stolen," because it like people would just take stuff out of the boxes
Yeah.
and leave the boxes, and they're like, "Why do you keep bringing this to us?" I'm like, "What am I supposed to do with it?" It's like, I don't know. Like the stuff was stolen. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want
I mean,
these
you got to
boxes.
scan it out or something. You got to do something with it. You can't just leave a bunch of empty boxes laying around. Come on, Lob. You know.
And they actually don't have UPC readers there. Everything is typed
I
in.
think you're right. Yeah.
It's yeah, that's like one of their things. They don't. Everything has to be typed in and like by department and whether or not that's one of the departments that's 50% off that week. Oh, it sucked.
Yeah. Well, I was only really bringing it up because I regret not looking for a case then and there.
There you
Because I
go.
was like, yeah, I didn't even look in that department. Same thing with like my wife's like decorative thing for her teacups. We should have looked better. And
Sure.
it was like the end of the day, so like, let's get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? Plus, it was like what day was that? Oh, that was on a Saturday. So like, well, then they're open Sunday.
Oh, it's a zoo. Yeah.
So we might as well get this out of the way. You know, that whole thing. So, yep. Chris, how's your back? And how fast can you run?
That's about it.
Can you chase down a shoplifter? You know, can you engage?
Yes.
Yeah, you're hired.
Running clothesline. Yes.
You're hired. A week from now, sorry, buddy. Strictly
Yeah. Too many people.
soup kitchens for you. Now
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm bringing up like references to movies and stuff. I don't have clips or pictures for, but it makes me think of the Kids in the Hall skit, where it's like, you know, like those workaday places where they pick up people in a truck and they, you know,
Yeah.
you. And so they had a skit where they had to test to see if the guys had steel toe boots.
Oh yeah, and they dropped the what'd they drop on them?
It was something. I know it wasn't like an anvil, but it
Yeah,
was something else. And
like a bowling ball or something. They dropped something heavy
yeah,
on
and the
the.
dude didn't have him,
Yeah.
but he pretended like he did. And he was
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yep.
But anyway, it all spoiler alert. It all turned out to be a ruse, so they could steal your steel toe boots
Yep.
at the end of the skit there. But anyway, Kids in the Hall is the greatest
Mhm.
comic troupe
Greatest and greatest.
of
Yeah.
all time. So never forget it. If you have never watched Kids in the Hall, shame on you.
And unfortunately, all you can find of it now is heavily edited.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was on Peacock. It might still be on Peacock,
Okay.
for all I know. But I mean, oh, it's shredded.
Man, that's too bad. I
Yeah.
know on Amazon Prime they had their most recent season a couple years ago.
Mm.
It was like their comeback, and it was pretty good. You know, but
Hmm.
they had the prior seasons on there.
Yeah.
I own them like on disc.
Sure.
I just haven't watched them in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I remember taping that off Comedy Central and uh, I think HBO back in the day.
Hmm.
I would tape it. I got it like 15, like 8-hour tapes full of them. They're probably in storage now. Probably melted.
Oh yeah,
But
maybe. I used to love watching Kids in the Hall after school because I was a lock and key kid.
oh yeah,
So
me too.
Comedy Central, when it was just the Comedy Channel was first coming out, was my bread and butter. When I get
Oh
home, I
yeah.
was watching Onion World, Rich Hall,
Hmm.
Rachel Sweet,
Yeah,
I think her name
two
was.
drink minimum, two drink minimum.
Uh,
Yeah,
Higgins Boys and Gruber.
Gruba.
You know,
Yeah,
all that stuff was on Comedy Central and like the afternoon, or
sure.
Comedy Channel, then in the afternoons. So
Yeah.
I come home, nuke up a hot pocket, and be like, ah, all set.
Hmm.
You know,
Oh
entertainment,
yeah.
homework. What's that? So yeah, but that's where I gained my affection for Kids in the Hall.
Sure, sure.
So yeah, but anyway,
Yeah, no. Good
it
times.
was, it
Penn
was.
Jillette doing the voiceovers during the credits of everything.
Oh geez, yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep, man. I wonder if Onion World has ever been collected, like a DVD format. Probably not. I think Onion World was lost to the annals of time.
Yeah, I can't even remember
Oh
that.
geez, there was just one skit in particular. I just remember like there's some kids on the side of the road selling lemonade. Rich Hall walks up and he's like,
Rich Hall, there
yeah,
you go. Onion roll with Rich
he's
Hall.
like, how much? And they're like, $1. He's like, wait, $1? That's a ripoff. And so next thing you see whatever, he comes back with his car and he runs over the lemonade stand. You're like, oh my god, like it was just ridiculous. But I mean, all this stuff was like the precursor for maybe like I think you should leave. I don't know if you're aware of that show, but some of these
No.
like really fringe comedy sketch shows that kind of exist
Like the
now.
State or like Exit
There
57.
you go.
Yeah.
But even then, I would probably credit the State as being an inspiration more than like a copycat or not even like
Hmm.
a you know later.
Is that the one with the I want to dip my balls in
Yeah,
it?
that was the one with the monkeys. They don't want to do it. They make a love.
Okay.
And a lot of those
That was
guys,
that was MTV
yes,
though.
and a lot of those guys went off to
Okay.
have very
Okay.
successful careers doing various things
Hmm.
from the State.
Talking Heads. Yes.
But yes, so but man, are we waxing nostalgic? So this is just
We are. That's what we
absolutely.
do. We need some OK Cola. Whatever the hell it
I
was.
loved OK Cola. I'm going to tell you something else about OK Cola. If you ever called the hotline, it was fantastic. It was like
I did
it
not.
was like push one for bird calls. Okay, and you literally
Oh, yeah. I
tweet,
actually.
tweet. It's
Yeah.
just the guy making weird like bird
Yeah.
noises and stuff.
Okay. I
And it was
remember
free
that.
to call, so it was great. Just
Mhm.
a interesting way to waste 20 minutes. Then everybody was trying to identify what was OK Soda, what was that flavor, and it turned
Mhm.
out, and I might stand corrected on this, but if
Mhm.
memory serves, it was just whatever was left over. They ended up throwing it into the vat, and voila, you had OK Soda, and that was the formula. So it was a
Really?
little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of whatever. So it was just a bunch of just random colas they had laying around, and they were left over from other vats, and OK Soda was born.
OK Soda had a more citric taste than traditional colas, almost like a fruit punch version of Coke's Fresca. It's been described as slightly spicy and likened to a combination of orange soda and flat Coke.
That's what we heard back in
Weird.
the day, that they just grabbed whatever they had laying around, threw it in a vat, and said, "Here you go."
There's your soda.
And then, the packaging was cool, and it was,
Wow, that was Coca-Cola. How about that?
yeah, it was a
Weird.
very hip, very '90s thing, Okay,
In,
soda.
introduced in 1993, discontinued in 1995.
Yeah, man, it didn't last long, and
Short-lived.
it was tailor made for kids my age, though. I'll tell you,
Of course.
we
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
it was nothing hipper.
No, for sure. For sure. It was either that or Zima, right?
Well, I was gonna say, you had Pepsi saying Crystal Pepsi, man.
Crystal
It's the
Pepsi.
taste of.
That was a few years before that, right?
It
That was
must
like
have been.
90.
It must have been.
Yeah.
Because I was all on that bandwagon too. I'm like, Crystal Pepsi is better than real Pepsi. I was talking out my keister. It
Yeah.
wasn't.
The Van Halen Right Now song
Mhm.
for the commercials.
Right.
Yeah.
And when they did the revival of it a couple years ago, I didn't buy any. I was like,
Me
you're not
either.
fooling me twice, Pepsi.
Nah.
It ain't happening. No way, no how. But I'll tell you what, if
No.
OK Soda came back,
Oh, hell yeah.
you might get me there, Coca-Cola. And I've always been amazed. Why do they still run ads for Coke?
Yeah.
It sells
Yeah.
itself. Aren't you guys just
Of
burning
course.
money?
Yeah. It's just kind of like a dick waving contest there. It's like, look, we have so much money we can advertise.
I know. You might as well just give that
Yeah.
money to charity. Like, you don't
Yeah.
need to. It's just part of our vernacular.
It is.
What do you want to drink? Oh, I have a Coke.
Mhm.
Okay. There you go. So
Yeah, even if they only have Pepsi, they'll bring you Pepsi, and it's
exactly
Coke.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you went to Burger King and you asked for McNuggets.
Yeah.
you know,
They
it really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have nuggets, so if you want those, we'll give you
Mhm.
those. But
We'll give
the
you those.
Mick isn't necessarily applicable here. But you
No.
or a bandage. You call it a Band-Aid.
Of course.
So
Of
that's what I'm saying.
course.
Like these companies, they got it made in the shade, man. They get so much
Mhm.
recognition, so much brand recognition. They would never need to utter their name again in public, and we would still, for generations, refer to
Mhm.
them
Mhm.
as the
What they are.
exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah. So there you go.
It's true.
I went cuckoo last episode talking about cream eggs coming out with a Christmas version, and I
Yeah.
called them cowards. And now I present that
Mhm.
same name to the Coca-Cola company for not bringing back OK
Mhm.
Soda.
There you go.
Freaking cowards.
And when I discovered those freestyle machines where you can like mix your own
Yeah.
sodas, I would always do Coke and orange
Really?
together.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it was maybe it was just embedded in my mind, but if you ever buy a freestyle machine, Coke and orange, it's great.
I like them, but I don't like those machines.
It's been years since I've had real soda, so I don't know.
Because you gotta
Yeah.
physically touch the machine, like with your finger,
Yeah, it's a touch
and I
screen.
don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Mm.
like the fact that everybody in the world has been touching this machine, and then I'm gonna touch the machine before I eat.
Just make sure you lick your finger
Well,
first.
yeah, there's not enough hand sanitizer in the world. Trust you me. And that's that's the thing with Buc-ee's. Going back to Buc-ee's, is they have so many different
Mhm.
sodas you can mix and match, but you never need to touch a damn screen to do that.
Really?
I understand space and volume and everything else. It's much easier
Sure,
to have
sure.
the one machine than it is to
One
have a
little
row.
space age machine. yeah.
Exactly. And when you first saw it years ago, you're like, wow, look at, we put a man
Badass.
on the moon. We friggin' made a soda machine that can dispense all these different sodas.
Mm-hmm.
But what they still haven't created that we truly need, hearkening
Mm-hmm.
to my childhood, is a slush puppy machine that will automatically put 80 squirts into a cup, even though there's a sign that says, please, 3 squirts maximum.
What does that mean?
Were you kidding me? You
No.
never went to a convenience store when you were a kid and there's a slush puppy machine, and you used to have to dispense the juice yourself before you put in the slush, the ice. So I would always be like, I think all
Sure.
my arm strength came from being a kid, squirting the
So
syrup.
what is like the syrup?
The
Okay.
syrup.
Okay.
I called it juice or something.
Sure.
The orange drink. The stuff, you squirt it into the cup. And then you'd add the slush. And I mean, I was like adding like this much ice because I had this much syrup in it. And
Okay.
you would annoy every convenience store worker on the face of the planet by doing this kind of stuff. To the point, again, where they had to hang up signs saying like 3
Huh.
squirt maximum on this syrup.
Wow. Yeah. That's
You-
I have no familiarity with
Do you
that.
remember having
No
a slush
experience with
puppy
that.
when you were a kid?
I must have at some point.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
the
but
problem.
mostly went to 7-Eleven, got Slurpees.
Yeah, see, that's the problem right there.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
deeply rooted. The DNA isn't
yeah.
there
It's
for you
not.
like it was for me. Like we didn't have 7-Eleven growing up, so I couldn't have
Mm,
told you.
that's all we had.
I couldn't have told you what a
Yeah.
slushy is. But to be honest with you, I think slushies suck. I don't prefer like
Yeah, I'm not a big
I
fan.
don't like a carbonated slushy.
Are they
Yeah, a
carbonated?
lot of them are like the root beer, Coca Cola, all that soda stuff.
I thought they were just flavored. I didn't know they
No,
were
they're even.
carbonated.
I went to a 7-Eleven one time. I got like a cherry one. It had like the bubbles in it. Give me a slush
Oh,
puppy
okay.
any day of the
Yeah,
week.
I haven't had anything like that in a very long
Yeah,
time.
dude, it was heartbreaking if
Yeah.
you went to a store and they had the machine behind the counter. You
Oh,
you,
that
you had to
sucks.
like butter the guy up, man. Dude, I know you're
Yeah.
making like $6 an hour. Uh, can you put a couple extra squirts in that cup for me?
You want to stick it to the
Yeah,
man?
you wanna show your boss what's up? And he'd always say to me, he's like, "Okay, Dave, you give me 3 minutes in bathroom. I come back here, have extra squirts in cup." I say, "Okay." And man, those are the best slush
But what's
puppies.
it a squirt of if he went to the
Those are the best
bathroom?
slush puppies I ever had, man. They were
Mm.
delicious. Holy moly! But on the topic of nostalgia,
Mm.
going back, it
Yeah,
was New Year a
it
couple days
was.
ago. This is a
Hmm.
fact. We can't change it. It is
True
2025.
statement.
Like it or not,
Hmm.
here we come.
Hmm. Here we be.
So I think it's a perfect time to reflect, as we just were, about some
Sure.
goodies.
Hmm.
So I present to you something that I like to call Take Two. And what Take Two
Hmm.
means, let's find two aspects: one in your personal life, one in your
Hmm.
collecting life. Something that you wish that you were aware of or more conscious of, that you are very conscious of now, that you kind of
Hmm.
wish you could have applied when you were younger. Maybe something that you knew, or an attitude that you had towards something. But
Sure.
whichever it may be, personal life, collecting life, if you knew what you knew now and could go back, what would you pick?
Okay. What do you want to start with?
Let's do personal. What about your personal life? You
Personal.
know.
What I wish I knew then that I know now
Yes.
is that youth is finite.
Mm.
um, I spent so much of my young adulthood acting a lot older than I was. Um, and now I kind of like want a rebate. I want a refund
Yeah.
because years go by. And it's almost cliche to start thinking like that's what we talked about off the air. It's like, is it too cliche to do this sort of thing? Is it too much like a resolution?
Nah.
No, no. I mean, this is reflecting. It's what you do this time of
Mm-hmm.
year, and it's human. It's not often that we get like fresh-ish, points to start. Where the other day it was 1-1. I mean, page one, panel one. We were just starting. Um, so it's what we do. We reflect, and for a long time last year, I thought my final resting place would have 2024 on it. So to be in 2025, it's a big deal. And New Year's Eve was weird because I actually stayed up until midnight. I
Wow.
haven't done that many
Yeah,
years.
that's wild, man. You live in the Vida Loca.
Yeah, I mean, I went to bed like 10 minutes later, but it's usually like, who gives a shit? It's a new year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care because what's the point? Um, but this year, it's like I wanna live, and I want, as corny as it sounds, like the first year of the rest of your life. So I wanted to ring it in. I wanted to kiss my sick wife, and that might be why I'm sick now.
Right.
Wanted to kiss the dogs. It's what you do. So, what I wish I knew then is that the things end, things go by, and every day spent could be used or wasted.
True.
And I think we've talked about this before here on the show, where it's like the trendiness of feeling old. It's like, oh, I feel so old. It's like, you're 25. Shut up. You know. But I was that person. I was the one who was talking about quarter life crises like an asshole. And it's like, no, you're a kid. You got all the time in the world. Stop being a jerk.
Right.
And then talking about now, it's like I just turned 45 last week, a week ago today. I turned 45. And it's like, wow, I could say I feel old, But like in 10 years, I'm going to look back on now and be like, wow, I was so young. So why not be young? Why not just do the things you want to do? Why not try to make the best of it? Don't just wish it away. Don't just wait to die. So I wish I had that in my mind back when I was a know nothing asshole mid-20s kid who was talking about how old they feel. And I don't know. I wish I had that then because I'd probably be much happier now.
Okay.
Now, what say you,
Oh,
my
you're throwing
friend?
it back to me, huh? You know what I
Yeah,
was?
unless you have anything you want to reflect
Well,
on
I,
or
I was gonna
add
say
to.
the way that you use the if only I knew then what I know now. I took like 34 sentences leading into
Hmm.
this little segment, trying to explain the segment when that's all I had to say. So I wish I knew that going into this before.
There you
You
go.
know,
And conciseness is not my strong suit.
yeah.
So,
Well, it's pretty much laid out there. It's pretty common knowledge.
mm,
But anyway, mine is not so deep.
okay,
Okay, I'm gonna do the personal on a personal note here.
do it.
And today I am mired in a chore that is known as laundry. It's my day off
Hmm.
from work. I always do laundry on my day off. But my wife hit me with like a bunch of stuff today. She's like, I think a spider bit me in bed last night. You need
Burn the
you
sheets.
need to wash everything. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm so no nothing bit me. I don't know what you're talking about. But for her, it's DEFCON 4. I have to nuke everything, what have you. But I, when I was a young person, and I have a lot of regrets about this in particular, I left home
Hmm.
too young. I
Okay.
thought I was really smarter than I was. Like you said in your
Hmm.
20s, I was a
Hmm.
brash, just completely thought I was in control of every situation and I knew everything when I didn't know a damn thing. With that was my laundry habits. And I used to just throw everything into a machine with a little bit of soap and go.
Sure.
It wasn't until my 30s when I discovered the magic of this potent elixir known as fabric
Hmm.
softener.
There you go.
Okay? And that started the journey that I carry on to this day, where I take
Hmm.
my laundry very seriously. Now, I have texted you quite a bit
Hmm.
about my love for the scent bead.
Yep.
I'm a big scent bead guy.
You're almost running out.
I know I'm freaking out too because I'm gonna have to physically go to a store for some because Amazon will not be able to ship me. Because here's the thing,
Oh.
I have it on a subscription,
Yeah,
so it
yeah.
comes like once a month or whatever, and I'm like, oh
But
no.
you overdid
And
it.
so I went to go order some, and it was like, this won't arrive until after my next auto delivery is set. And I'm like, well, what's the point of that? Thanks,
Sure.
Bezos.
Jerk.
But man, I love good smelling clothes. I love soft clothes.
Hmm.
People in my family think I'm insane. How serious I take my laundry. But I do wish I had gotten those habits earlier in life because it brings me this nice little peaceful Zen like state in my existence, being able to go, damn.
There you
I
go.
love you, fabric softener. I love you, scent bead. I love the fact I didn't make or back then I could have put blacks with whites. All my socks were like dingy blue because
Oh
I was
yeah,
mixing
yeah.
with like
Same.
new jeans and everything else.
Hmm.
So it seems very superficial. I understand. It's not the deepest thing to say.
Doesn't need to
If
be.
we ever revisit Take Two, maybe I'll come back with something a little bit more, inside my soul.
Hmm.
But for now, man, I'm thinking about that 18-year-old kid just jamming his laundry into that stupid machine
Oh
and
yeah.
just letting it overflow and get messy and be terrible. And I hate him. I hate his guts. I like Scent Bee Dave a lot more than I like lousy laundry Dave.
There you go.
So yeah, that's my personal note. So if anybody out there needs any laundry tips, I
Hmm.
know this is super
You
exciting
got your
stuff.
hookup.
You send us an email, badabinshow@gmail.com. I haven't dropped the email address yet all
True.
episode,
True.
but I would love to
True.
give you my regimen and what I use. And do not cross pollinate. Okay, that's one thing I'll give you for free right now.
Mm.
So if you use a certain type of detergent, get that brand of scent beads and that same scent. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
have
You don't want
the
to
detergent.
conflate.
Yeah, I have the
Yeah.
detergent, same scent, scent beads, same scent. Dryer sheets are all the same scent. So I'm
Hmm.
consistent. The continuity is
There
alive
you
and
go.
well with Dave's Laundry.
Hmm.
Now, what do you say about collecting habits, or just your thoughts as being a collector? Is there anything that now you kind of look back and go, "Geez, man, what was I thinking? What a dummy." Okay, what
Yes.
do you got?
It's two
Oh,
words.
oh,
Don't hoard.
oh boy, that's good. I
Don't
like that.
hoard.
Don't hoard.
Yeah.
Interesting. Please elaborate.
Yeah. Um, well, growing up, you and I have similar upbringings where, the famine was more than the feast, and there was a lot of stuff we wanted, and we were both in the midst of the speculator boom and the gimmick covers, the foil covers, the overpriced books. The book would be $1.25 one month, the next month it would be $4 because they put a bit of foil on it, and we had to drop things. We couldn't get things. Things were out of our reach, no matter how much lunch money we saved up. And then when you're an adult, especially after the bottom falls out on the industry and 50-cent bins, quarter bins, dime bins become a thing, you see all the stuff you wanted as a kid that you couldn't afford, and you needed all of it. You hear the stories of the people whose parents throw their stuff out so like they spend the rest of their lives like rebuying their childhood.
Yep.
I just couldn't afford it in the first place. So it's like you see these things in a bin and it's like you feel like you're stealing. They're so cheap, but you do it. It's like I find like you find like all 101 issues of Avengers West Coast for like a quarter each. It's like, oh God, am I ever gonna read it? Do I want it? I wanted it when I was a kid, so you buy all of it, and that's how I wound up with this disaster that I have here. And it's easy to become a prisoner of your collection, and it's like when we look at it's like it becomes a monster. Like when we look at a new house we might want to buy, it's like, well, will the comics fit? That's actually a question we have to ask. If we're going to do any kind of renovations, like, well, where are we going to put the comics? That's actually a problem we have. And I mean, it's a caviar problem, but it's
Yeah.
still a problem.
Right.
And it's like, wow, look at the limitation I put on my family by having all this shit. And a lot of it is kind of just there. But at the time, it was like the most important thing in the world, and I needed it.
Okay. Well, that
So,
begs the question. You know what I'm going to ask?
yeah,
Could you ever downsize?
I don't know. I don't know. Because it's like everything's here now, so everything's mine.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I hear you.
Yeah, it's like it's so it'd be a lot easier to like just not have bought it in the first place than to actually part with it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I had recently, within the last 24 hours, this is how recent
Hmm.
it is. My son, he had gotten some money from his grandfather for Christmas, and
Okay.
he wanted to buy a new Funko Pop. And
Hmm.
so I went on Amazon for him, excuse me, and I ordered it. And my wife's sitting there, and she's like, "Will you guys just cut it out? Stop it." And I'm like, "What? No. What are you talking about? Stop it. This is great. It's great to be a fan of something. It's great to acquire these little knickknacks and stuff." And
Sure.
I mean, even this month, my pre-orders in January are pretty chunky. And now I'm like, do I gotta hide these things when they arrive so my wife doesn't see them because she's gonna like judge me and criticize me? And the other side of the coin is, do I need them? The
Yeah.
answer, no,
Of
no, I
course.
don't.
Yeah.
I have like a couple Swamp Thing figures coming next week. How many Swamp
Hmm.
Thing figures does a guy truly need? I mean, there's so many times in the past I might have bought something and been like, this is it. This is all I'll
Sure.
ever need. This
Yeah.
this fig is amazing. I mean, this Hulk one. Will I ever need another Hulk fig? Guess what? Surprise! I have another Hulk statue coming at the end of the month. It's a Joe Fixit
Yep.
one, but I'm like, dude, it's my favorite run of the Hulk. I need to get it.
Sure.
So, yeah. When is enough enough? When do you stop yourself? When is it truly hoarding? Is it hoarding when you're surrounded by the stuff, or when you are covered in your own feces,
Yeah.
living in a sleeping bag that's stuffed with Amazon boxes? What is the end all be all as far as
I mean,
acquiring
yeah,
stuff?
it's on a spectrum for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in my wife's rational mind, it's like, dude,
Hmm.
why aren't you putting this money in savings? Why aren't you, doing something more productive with
Hmm.
your?
And where are we going to put everything?
Yeah, I know, because that's the
Yeah.
other thing. Whatever you may see behind me or what have you, I have so much more just boxed up,
Oh
stuffed
yeah.
in closets,
Mm-hmm.
without the fine organizers that you have just recently purchased at Target.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. And then she'll even suggest to me, "Oh, you should open your own comic shop." I'm like, "No." What do you mean, no? I'm like, I would.
There's a way to go broke.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, I get high on my own supply,
Oh yeah, yeah. I could never.
you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah,
even with, for example, you had mentioned the Avengers West Coast or something.
yeah.
Was I a particular fan of that run? No, but it's mine now.
Exactly.
That's my stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
it's so foreign of a concept for me to flip or to sell
Yeah.
something that I've acquired,
Mm-hmm.
and this kind of leads into my little bit too, as far as collecting. And what I was going to say for me personally is that people are allowed to like what they like, however the hell they want to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are so many times I've been a hypocrite when it
Sure.
comes to,
Oh, we all have. Yeah.
like, oh, dude, that's lame. Why would anybody ever want that? And I guess the number one example of such a thing would be Funko Pops.
Mm-hmm.
When they were first being released, I would mock people. And I'd be like, why
Mm-hmm.
do you want this unarticulated little hunk of plastic that doesn't even really look like the kit?
Like what it's supposed to look like.
Exactly. And it took a while to dawn on me that it's just an inexpensive way to acquire a piece of that nostalgia or a piece of your fandom,
Sure.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
actually quite an awesome avenue to have,
Mm-hmm.
compared to paying hundreds of dollars for something. $10.
Sure.
You want
Yeah.
to remember the movie E.T.? Well, yeah, you can buy an E.T. figure for whatever, you know, basically pennies compared to some of the other stuff. But
Sure.
I'm kind of trying to relate this because something I'll never agree with is flipping. I don't like it at
Yeah. No,
all.
me either.
But even selling comics, like there's a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
when I'd see, I'm like, dude, come on, you can't do that for a living. How? Come on, where's the passion? Where's the love? When
Yeah.
you make something a job, doesn't that suck the love right out of it? But in
Yes,
reality,
it
well,
does. Yeah.
listen, yes and no, because it's a different mindset. Like, you mentioned we're both alike because we both grew up so freaking dirt poor
Mm.
that having all this stuff now, if your younger version of yourself saw yourself, he'd be like, "You made it, you did
Yep.
it, like you achieved
Promised land. Yep.
exactly, you achieved the unachievable, man.
Nirvana. Yeah.
Welcome to Mecca, welcome to Nirvana, whatever you want to call it. You're there." I mean, if 12-year-old Dave saw this version of Dave sitting in front of all this stuff with a Death of Superman T-shirt on, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, he'd be mind blown. I probably would have dug myself my own grave, laid down, and died.
There you
And
go.
been like, "This is amazing." So, what I'm trying to get to with that is a different mindset would be: I do have all this West Coast Avengers. I'm never going to read this. I'm never going to do anything with it. I can part with it. I could sell it, to someone who might appreciate it more than I would.
Sure.
So, would you prefer someone being more like altruistic, like just take it for free, because I don't need it? I mean, everybody wants
Um.
to make something off something.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Because like my altruism comes from not because I talked about hoarding, but I don't double up or triple up.
See, yeah, I
You
do.
know,
Does that make me a bad guy?
I wouldn't say
Oh,
so, but like if I'm in the shop or in a used bookstore, used record store, and I see something worth money that I already own
mm-hmm.
and it's cheap, I won't pick it up. I'll leave it there for a fellow traveler. You know,
Okay.
the one example that I usually go to is the first appearance of Hellboy in that issue of John Byrne's Next
Uh
Men,
huh.
because it's like, who would look for an issue of John Byrne's Next Men for the first full color appearance of Hellboy?
Right.
Um, and I have the issue, but I found it in a dollar bin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, I could get that. I could flip it. I could have it as like a giveaway for the show or something. But I left it for someone because I know the excitement when you find something like that. I wouldn't want to rob someone of
Uh
that.
huh.
So I think about me finding it for the first time and being like, holy cow, this is major. This is a book that's worth not life-changing money, but decent money, and it's a dollar. And just thinking of the excitement in my veins, just wanting to pass that on to, if there even is a fellow traveler,
I hope he did.
someone like me.
I hope that
I hope
happened
so.
because
I hope so.
immediately, maybe this is like the terrible side of my
The cynic,
personality, the cynic.
I'm gonna flip it. Look what I found. I'm gonna flip
Well,
this.
not yeah. So you left it for that person who's been would like love to find that in the wild all
Yeah.
their life. They've been like, man, I just want that first full color appearance of Hellboy or something.
Yeah.
But what happens is you get the
The
guy.
flipper finds
He's
it.
flipping through.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, oh, this
Yeah.
app says it's worth $100. Ah, ha, ha. Like, and that's the risk you took
Of
by
course.
leaving it. Now, had you taken it, you maybe could have given it to somebody, but you don't know that person.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's just I understand what you're getting at. I respect it.
Yeah,
You just don't know.
it's the optimism, the Pollyannish worldview that it really has no place. But yeah, you do what you can to make yourself feel better, I
No,
guess.
it's true. And
Yeah.
when I say I buy multiple copies of stuff, I do of like my favorite issues, like things I'm really really
Mhm.
passionate about.
Mhm.
But even then, I haven't always bought it every time I see it. There have been
Mhm.
sometimes I felt almost like you, where I'm like, well, hopefully some kid sees this in a box and goes, hey, all right,
Yeah.
and it starts something for them, sparks a flame or whatever.
Mhm.
But then again, if it's in good condition or something, I'm like, yeah, I'll take it because I
Mhm.
love it and I want more of it. I can't stop. It's like a kid sticking his hand in the honey jar.
In the socket.
Oh no, well, maybe, yeah. See, I this part the problem with the line of thinking. I'm thinking honey jar. A
Mhm.
rational mind, like my wife, for example, would think light socket. This guy, what the hell's the matter with this guy? Why does he keep doing this to himself? And then, I mean, speaking of the whole hoarding thing, if you would
Mm.
tell me like, hey Dave, you could surround yourself with all this stuff and just chill out, read comics in your room all day, and I know it's so like that's what a 16-year-old kid should do. Now I'm a man
Yeah.
in his late 40s. I'd be like, hell yeah, sign me up. you know, if I'm 80 and I'm still surrounded by all this stuff, just reading a comic, I'm like, dude, life well spent, bro. Like this has been it. This is what I've wanted. This is what I cared about. This is
Mhm.
and maybe I can't move or I'll knock something over. Oh well, I did it.
I'll
I'll,
stand. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Right. I'll just get a more narrow chair. I don't know. Or I'll sleep in a lazy boy rather than a bed. I mean, just
I'll hang upside down like a bat.
okay. That well might hurt my sciatica, but yeah, what I'm trying to say is I just don't see. I don't know. There's always that point in someone's life, and I'm sure there's been points in my life that I can't identify right this second, spur of the moment,
Mhm.
where you say enough's enough of something,
Sure.
and maybe leave the childish, feelings or affections behind, and it's time to grow up.
Mm.
But with collecting, I just can't quit you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just can't. It's just, and
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Like there are times I lose passion for it, but it never goes away.
Mm,
Like last year, I lost passion for it big time.
yeah.
Like where it's like there was a line in The Office once where the guy Ryan's like, my parents took me to Disney World when I was a kid. I cried the whole time. And that like you could have put me in the the a new 50 cent bins
Yeah.
that I'd never seen before. You'd have placed me there and I would have just stood there. It wouldn't have been, the blood wasn't pumping, the adrenaline wasn't going. It was just like, eh,
Yeah.
there's nothing for me here. But those things, they tend to happen and then they go away.
Yeah. I mean,
They never, the switch is never fully flipped.
I think too, now that I'm thinking about it, is collecting and stuff, and I understand it's like nickel and diming yourself to death in a way
Okay, yeah.
because
Death by a thousand cuts,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. Because in my own life, I've had some certain problems with addictions and things of that nature,
Hmm.
and it took a long time, but eventually, I defeated them, right? But
You kicked
why?
it.
Because I
Yeah.
have a family. I mean, I care about people. I don't want them to see me
Yeah.
a certain way. I don't want to behave,
You don't want to inflict that on them.
exactly. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
collecting and stuff to me is just pure goodness.
It's
It's a
harmless.
harmless, beautiful thing. And then yet
Yeah.
again, with the money being spent, it's $50 here, $10 there. It's not like I'm like if you were a degenerate gambler or something and you lost your mortgage
Sure,
payment.
dropping 20 grand every.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know what I mean? If you think about it, and I always relate it to other things. Always, always, always. And I
Mm.
don't know if I've mentioned this on Bada Bin before. So
Mm.
if I have, I apologize. But I pissed off my wife something fierce, beyond belief, one time. And she was like, "Oh, let's go out to a restaurant tonight." I'm like, "I don't know. You know how many comics I could buy for what I'm about to spend on a plate of linguine or whatever?" Dude, she could have freaking decapitated me. But to me, it's tangible, right? The comics are something
Of
I
course,
own. The food is something I enjoy for whatever.
it
Yeah,
passes.
and she's like,
Yeah, it's an
right. And
experience.
her thing was like, well, that's the experience with your family. That's invaluable.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay. I can only imagine what I could acquire for that $150 for comics or whatever, rather than the
Sure.
meal and plus, I'm a chew and screw kind of guy. I don't really like to hang out after eating. It's like, okay, let's go.
Hmm.
Check, please. But yeah, man, like that that was a perilous evening for me. I was nearly not around to Bada Bin to this day. But yeah, even then, if you think, oh, I went to the movies and it was $50, or I mean,
Hmm.
I'm always relating collecting to whatever trivial pursuit or activity that we
Yeah.
all perform as a society every day and that we're willing to spend money on.
Sure.
And I think in the grand scheme of things, and maybe this is like the same mindset a junkie would have explaining his drug addiction.
Well, a lot of
Yeah,
justification for sure. For sure.
hey, it's small potatoes. I'm not hurting anybody. It brings me a lot of joy. I think it's
Yep.
great.
Yeah, you only get one go round.
Yeah, well, unless you're Shirley MacLaine and you believe in
Who?
reincarnation,
No?
in which case next time around maybe I'll be a beautiful gazelle
An oak
or
tree.
an oak tree or
Yeah.
an ant that lives about half a day after someone
Mm.
steps on me because I'm so interested on gnawing on a piece of discarded chewing gum. We just don't know.
Potentially.
It could
Potentially.
be anything. If you
Hmm.
were reincarnated, what would you want to come back as?
Me.
Great. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
wonderful? Oh, jeez, all these scammers calling me right when I ask these deep questions.
Potential spam.
I want to come back as a spam bot. That's what
There
I
you
want to
go.
be. Yeah, exactly.
Because those are immortal.
Yeah. But then again, collecting, beautiful thing. I like talking to other collectors. I like seeing other people's collections. I know I just mentioned like my stuff is more important than your stuff, and that's very George Carlin-esque explanation of things. But it is cool. Like, you know, social media. What's social media? It's regurgitation. Look at what
Hmm.
I got. Look what I got. Did you create that?
Oh
No, I
yeah.
bought it. You know,
Yep.
but you still like seeing
And
it.
social media is the reason why a lot of people do buy stuff.
You think like it's an influencing thing?
Well, I mean, I remember when I first came onto like Twitter back when I started Chris's on Infinite
Uh
Earths,
huh.
and like the comics fandom, especially online, is very easily usurpable. You can pop on and you could show the picture of Spider-Man holding Gwen Stacy and talk about how it made you cry, and everybody looks at you as like oh, you're an influencer now. You're a comics historian.
Ooh.
Look at you. You're very knowledgeable.
Oh, don't be throwing that around.
But it is what it
It is
is.
true.
And I remember when I started, I was with the Weird Science guys, and they had a bunch of fans who would basically go to the comic store every Wednesday and take a picture of basically the wall because they bought everything. And like they couldn't tell you a thing about them. They couldn't tell you anything about the history of the books. They couldn't tell you anything. But they wanted to show these pictures off online. And like it's like, oh, how is that book? Oh, it's great. So I think a lot of people, especially maybe not especially in our fandom, I'm just most familiar with our fandom. People buy things just so they could show them off. And I'm sure I've done that myself. Like if I saw something quirky or weird in a 50 cent or dollar bin, I'd pick it up. And be like, oh, look at this weird and quirky thing. And that's what gets the likes. And that's a dopamine fix. And I think a lot of people really fall into that pit.
I do remember us talking about like the thing that drove us absolutely crazy was when you'd see someone who's like, "Hey, check out my New Mutants number 98 slab 9.8,"
Yep.
and it's like,
Yep.
"Oh, you just bought that with a credit card off eBay."
Yep. Yeah, it's your tax return.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like there was no effort put into it. It's like that line from Jurassic Park, like your scientists were so preoccupied if they could, they never stopped to think if they should. Like, you didn't do the legwork, or as you like to say, the
Yeah.
sweat equity, and hunt
Yep.
for it and go out and hit the bins. You just, all right, let me enter my credit card number, mine, you know?
Oh yeah, because like I remember talking with people when I started like making friends on the internet,
Right.
and like a lot of people were complaining that they hated how the trade dresses look different on a bookshelf. And like the Marvel Essentials is a big. If I can show them,
Okay.
you can see down here, it's all different trade dresses. Am I pointing to the right thing?
Yeah, yeah, you good.
Okay. So it's like even going back to like the old Spider-Man one here, it's upside down. The spine is actually upside down. I remember talking to people and they're like, "Oh, I hate that. That makes my shelves look terrible." And I was on that same mindset back then too. I'm like, yeah, it would be nice if they looked cooler, if it looked more uniform. But then I stopped to think, and it's like, well, these bookshelves have a story. These are not me going to Amazon or eBay and one click buying things. And this is around the time that some of the sites were doing like the shelf porn, if you remember that,
Sure.
where like people would just show up their collections, and it's like all the latest printings of the Marvel omnibuses. It's like, okay, well, those all just came out. So you just bought your collection. You bought your entire collection the past 3 months. There's no story to that. It looks cool, but it looks like a Barnes and Noble bookshelf. But it's
Right.
not, you're not a collector. You're a buyer. Where like if you have shelves that look kind of ramshackle, like
Right.
all different trade dresses, all different bindings, all different spines. That tells me the story of your collecting journey, right? As cliche or lame as that might sound, it shows that you've been there.
Yeah.
It shows that you bought these things as you found them, and that tells me that you probably actually partook in it.
Right.
You didn't just. It's like, oh well, I need all five of the the X-Men Claremont omnibuses or whatever. It's like, okay, you just bought those.
Okay.
What can you tell me about them?
True. I was actually thinking of an analogy that
Hmm.
is very current since Christmas just ended. But it's like when
Sure.
you see these pristine trees
Hmm.
compared to like these ones that are full of like the different family knickknacks and stuff.
Oh,
Like
sure.
something has a certain charm to it.
Yeah.
Much like your shelves where the trade dresses are different because
Hmm.
yeah, even though it's not a uniform thing, there's a little story behind it. You know what I mean? There's some
Yeah.
elbow grease
Hmm.
involved there. And so, while I do love the look of like a pristine tree that looks like it came out of a
Of
magazine,
course.
there's always something to
Hmm.
that weird little herky jerky tree that someone has in their house. And even
Hmm.
us in my home, like my wife's already planning for next year. She already purchased like certain like ornaments, and she's like, "We're doing a color scheme,"
Hmm.
and I was like, "Yeah, that's great," but don't forget the little family ornaments we get to pop on there too.
Hmm. Of course.
To give it that little bit of
Personal
yeah,
touch.
exactly.
Yeah.
And to the statement of they just bought their collection.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that,
Hmm.
except for if you just bought the collection to get 200 likes on Instagram.
That's I'm with you right there. I
That's
mean,
where you draw the
I
line.
want people to discover the hobby. I want people to discover books. I want people to enjoy what they buy.
Hmm.
But when it's clear that it's just to get the handful of thumbs ups and hearts, that kind of
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, it's weird too because there's so many other
Yeah.
different things you could maybe share on a social
Yeah.
network site.
But comics is very usurpable.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You know.
We're the nerdy girl that the that the football player looks at.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm struggling too because I just said the one of the things that I kind of wish I could go back is you like what you like, no matter how you like it. It's what that
Hmm.
biggity bam, biggity boom. That's fine by me. I should be more accepting of that.
Of course.
But then,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
we've been around the block.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I mentioned I love digging in those dirty places that stink.
Of
I
course.
want to see you in the trenches with me, homeboy. That's what I want to see.
Without your cell phone,
Oh,
unless you're just looking at the books you need.
yes, exactly. There are
Yeah.
times I pulled out my phone looking at CLZ, and I'm like ashamed of it.
People are gonna
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
yep.
exactly. I'm nervous.
What would I think if I saw me doing this?
Exactly. Right, and I want no part of that whatsoever. So even then, you
Is
got to do it on the snide, you know, like
yeah, is Hawk and Dove Volume 3, Number 11 the first appearance of somebody?
yeah. I told you there was a guy like that one time at a store. He was like talking into
Mhm.
the phone, asking whichever AI, what's
Yeah,
this worth?
yeah.
And he was doing it like in hushed tones too. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
so and so, we'll call him. Hey, Jiminy Cricket,
Mm-hmm.
what's Conan 247, or what happened in Star Wars 80? It's like, okay,
It's
is
true.
this Liam Neeson in Taken, or is this some guy trying to flip some books? I don't really know what's going on here, but I don't like it either which way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because yet again,
It's true.
it's like your Dark Horse. No, Next Men. I'm sorry, your Next Men. You
Yeah.
know, you're gonna get the guy who's like, "Holy moly, I wish I had this," or the guy's like, "Hey, Apple Jacks,
Yeah. John Burns' Next Men, number
what's
21.
it worth? I will find you." Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that was a very successful first run at Take Two. We both, I think, very. Yeah. There you go, Mr. John Lennon, ladies and gentlemen, giving peace a chance. Yeah, you know, just kind of exposing a couple things that we wish we knew personally and collector wise.
Sure,
I was going to say
sure.
professionally, but we're not professional anything.
No,
You
no.
know,
We are amateur at best.
amateur at every single.
Fake ass.
Yeah, fake ass. Exactly right. So, anyway, I would like to move on.
Let's
I don't
do it.
want to talk about these dirty, filthy flippers anymore, talking into their
Mm-hmm.
phones. Heck no.
Mm-hmm.
You know, real quick, if you don't mind, something I think I was going
Mm-hmm.
to revisit, or I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
revisiting, was, it seems like every week I've been talking about these trades that I got from Books Giving
Sure.
that I, was excited to get and have been reading. And recently, we we crapped on the John Byrne, everything
Hulk.
over time,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah, yeah.
his Hulk run, which
Yeah.
one? The second one, when is post PAD with Ron Garney, and I was like, well, it's been a long time since I revisited it. I want to like give it another chance, some fresh eyes, because I really haven't read it, or I can't admit to reading it since it pretty much came out. And good
Sure.
lord, how many years ago was that now? It was
99, 98.
the
A long
early,
time
the
ago.
turn of the 2000s.
Quarter century ago.
You
Yeah.
know, we were still afraid that elevators were going to fall in Y2K and that,
Mm-hmm.
computers were going to fail. How times have
Yeah.
changed, right? Now we're worried about AI. But
Mm-hmm.
so I've been looking at it and reading it, and boy, it's a feast for the eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something that dawned on me was you got to brace yourself to read the book because it's so narration heavy.
Yeah.
There was even an issue where it was only narration.
I don't
There was
remember that.
no verbiage between any of the characters in the book whatsoever.
Mm.
And he puts a lot into it. So, flip side of the coin, you go, okay, this is going to take an investment for me to read it, right?
Sure,
I
sure.
really got to get in the right mindset. I got to take the time to read
Yeah.
it. And the other side goes, man, you really got your money's worth
Mm-hmm.
out of that book, because this wasn't like I mentioned chew and screw. This isn't that at
Yeah.
all. Like you're gonna be reading this comic book for like a half an hour.
Yeah. That's not bad for 2.25.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And as palate cleanser, I was like, for example, I was diving into volume 2 here of Dark Knights of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
which is Tom Taylor. It's been a very good series. And had you asked me prior to flipping from the Hulk in this, like, how many narration boxes are in Dark Knights of Steel? There's like none. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's like zero narration in it whatsoever. And it's almost jarring going from one to the other. It's like jumping into like a bucket of ice. And it
Mm-hmm.
wakes you up and you're like, wow, like, because completely two different methodologies of writing, of doing a story, yet they're both very satisfying in their own ways,
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder sometimes, like, like old heads like us, Do you feel cheated? Do you feel ripped off, or are you like, woo, like, oh my gosh, I can actually get through something without having to read John Burns' 8 billion narration boxes, you know?
Yeah,
Who's
it's
that
like a
one?
weird split the difference sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Because it's a thin line between way too breezy and way too wordy.
It really, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like, for example, the John Burns stuff, it reads like
Hmm.
prose, like it's really, it's actually pretty well done.
Hmm.
Um, Overall, it's just sometimes it's just too much of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then Ron Garney is fantastic. And then I even had forgotten that there was an issue that was like a stopgap issue, a filler.
Oh, the Wolverine one.
No, actually, this is like, I just stumbled upon it right here. Hulk #5,
Hmm.
called Yes, I Saw the Hulk.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
it's about experiences characters have had with this rampaging monster. I'm not going to spoil
Hmm.
anything, but the book starts with the Hulk completely out of control, and Banner cannot even have any trace
Reach.
memory of
Yeah.
why he's killing people, why he's on this murderous
Yeah.
rage. What is he possessed by? And
Hmm.
so, actually, Dan Jurgens does some of the art in this as well, where they get
Hmm.
these testimonials from the various people who have suffered at the hands of the Hulk over the
Hmm.
first 4 issues, you know? So,
Yeah.
it's interesting change of pace. It's a filler, but
Hmm.
it doesn't necessarily feel like a filler because you get quite a bit of story out of it.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, you know, I think what I was trying to allude to when I first started talking about it is that we can crap on it for some of the misfires it does in fact have, and we're all going to cite the number one thing. We've done it before in previous episodes, the Betty Banner thing. Whoops,
Hmm.
banana peel, hey-o! Watch your tailbones, you're about to fall. But
Hmm.
really, it's very successful in other ways, you know? And
Hmm.
in that, with decades distance, I didn't give it the credit I think it actually might be due, you know?
Okay.
So I recommend it.
Is the Wolverine issue in that book?
Yeah, because that's what, issue 8?
Number 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's is that Eric Lawson or was that Byrne?
That was, I could swear it was Larson,
Yeah,
but
because Larson was doing Wolverine at the time, I think.
8. No, it is, yeah, Larson wrote it. He writ it.
He writted
He
it.
writ it no, he wrote it and Ron Garney drew it.
Garney did
Oh
the yeah. I
man,
remember
what a
Garney on the cover.
great opening
Yeah,
page too. Hold on, I gotta
yeah.
go full screen for this.
Do
Ron
it.
Garney, dude, like he was doing Captain America back then. He was doing the
Mm-hmm.
Hulk. This dude was just freaking lights out, man. I got glare.
Yeah.
I got glare there, people.
There you go.
Dude, it's
That was a good time in
oh my
comics.
gosh,
Jesus.
man. This is just beautiful, beautiful stuff.
No, I remember there was like a weird humbleness in the industry around that time, where like we were coming out of like the excess of the first half of the decade, and we were in the it's just much more humble, much more welcoming. It just the hubris was gone, and they were just they felt like they were just interested in telling good stories again,
Well,
or telling good stories for the first time in a while.
well, think of some of the prominent creators of that era. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
contributing even to the Hulk. I mentioned Dan Jurgens, and I'm always,
Mm-hmm.
shirt
Yeah.
notwithstanding here, I'm always going to love that
Sure.
80s, early 90s era of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone blue in the face saying Jerry Ordway is someone
Mm-hmm.
I have the utmost, highest respect for. And
Sure.
he works on the Hulk here too, as well. And
Yeah.
those
And
creators
we had
loved
like
comics. They grew up on the comics. They cared about the
yeah.
comics. That was everything for them. You knew when they went home and they were like, I can't wait to work on this book, And it
Yeah, it
showed.
was more than just a paycheck. Yeah, Busick and Perez on the Avengers. Ordway came in to do a three-part Ultron story in the middle of that, which was great. Jurgens and Ramita on Thor. What's his face? Scott Lobdell on Fantastic Four for a few issues before Claremont came in. It's just a real good time. Busick and Chen on Iron Man. Kelly and Siegel on the X-Men books. Real good time.
Yeah, that was very exciting.
Yeah, yeah, and like on the other side, you had Robinson Starman was doing its thing. Morrison and Wade on JLA. Real, real good stuff. Real different from the first half of the decade for sure.
Speaking of that, is at first I'm like, well, is it so exciting just because I was so young?
It
It
might be.
might
It might
be,
very well be.
but something that I find slightly astonishing is take Marvel Knights, right?
Hmm.
That Kevin Smith Daredevil run,
Yep.
establish Mysterio as
Hmm.
seriously as being kind of cool.
Yeah, but he killed him at the same time he was alive in another book.
Oh, okay, all right, fine.
So they had to do it. They actually had to do a three issue miniseries to explain why this
Right,
happened. It was like the Mysterio Manifesto or some crap.
but
But it was a good story. The Smith stuff
it
was
was
good.
cool, right?
Yeah.
And especially with Casada on art, it was great.
Oh
But
yeah.
here we are in 2025, and I was recently watching the TV series What If with
Hmm.
my son, and Mysterio plays a big bad in that. A couple years
Hmm.
ago, he was the big bad in a major motion picture Spider-Man movie. And
Okay.
had you had told me like Mysterio would ever be significant enough to be able to lead, and they
Mm.
changed things. Don't get me wrong; a lot of things were in fact
Hmm.
altered, but still, just
Okay.
the fact this dude in a green suit with a giant freaking fishbowl on his head would
Hmm.
be part of the fabric now. That whether you like comics or not, maybe you're just the fan that likes movies or whatever. You know who
Hmm.
Mysterio is.
Hmm.
Bombs in Oshkosh. Oh yeah, I remember that
Hmm.
guy, Mysterio. He was in that Spider-Man movie. Like what?
Hmm.
What? Like this is crazy. But then it makes me think like maybe Kevin Smith had something to do with that. I don't know. Like maybe that was part of the catalyst that because I know I always thought Mysterio was kind of like he's cool looking to a 12
Well, he
year
was a
old.
Sinister Six guy. I think
Yeah.
they're working their way through.
Okay. I'm just saying. I
Yeah.
mean theories could be abound. There could be many, but I'm just like if it
Sure.
wasn't
Sure.
for establishing him as being a legitimate threat. And in
Hmm.
Daredevil, it was less. I don't know, man. It was psychological. There's a lot going on there.
That was a good story. That was an exciting time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
really. Well, take away the Punisher's Marvel Knights debut.
And the Inhumans.
Oh yeah, right. But
Yeah, screw the Inhumans. But the Black Panther and the and Daredevil were just
that was
amazing.
Christopher Priest, right?
Priest,
He did
yeah.
Black Panther at that point in time.
Yeah. Priest and Voluto, I believe.
Yes, Sal, my guy Sal, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe it's a little bit of a rant, but I mean, listen, as someone who's been reading and collecting as long as I have, to be sitting here
Mm.
watching something with my kid, it's been
Hmm.
like, dude, Mysterio still? Like, whoa, what? Like, get out of here. You know? It's cool. It's different. And, you could look at it and have some resentment about it. You could be like, well, none of these people understand where he came from or who Quentin Beck really is or whatever, whatever. But
Mm.
then you kind of also have to sit back and appreciate the fact that he's an action figure, man. Like, you can buy him at Walmart and kids are just playing with it, and it's like, wow, you never thought
Sure.
you'd see the day. Sure, Iron Man, yeah, Hulk, yeah, Captain, all the name top tier
Hmm.
guys, right? But then Mysterio, what? So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm mystified. Maybe he got me.
There you
Maybe I'm
go.
being mysterioed.
Mysterio'd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which would have made an excellent cereal. But
Hmm.
other than that,
Booyaka.
yeah, right. But yeah, I guess my point is, if you ever come across it for on the cheap, the run. I mean, it's funny because I did see issue number one at that store going out of business.
Okay. Of which book?
Hulk number
Of the
one
Hulk?
of the
Okay.
Burn run. I already have a couple different copies.
Sure.
Interestingly
Sure.
enough, I was subscribing at the time, and I don't know if
Hmm.
this was applicable to all the at home subscribers, but I got that Sunburst variant cover.
Okay.
So later on in life, when I saw the regular cover, I went out and bought it, so I'd have both.
Sure.
And I was tempted. I almost picked it up, and I'm like, well, I already got two different versions of the cover, and I got the trade. Even though it's $1, this place has gone out of business,
Is,
so it wasn't like I was being, I'm leaving this for
isn't
somebody
it
else.
isn't it crazy that we can say sunburst variant and we know what we're talking about?
What do you mean? What are you talking?
Hmm?
What do you mean? Doesn't everybody know what a sunburst variant is?
I think comic collectors of our vintage know exactly what we're talking
Yeah,
about with the sunburst variant, where now every book has 35
yeah,
variants and you couldn't tell a single one of them apart. But we know the sunburst
yeah,
variants.
man. It was
We know
special
them.
times. And
Yeah.
actually, they do a little cover gallery in here, and I
Hmm.
probably was aware of it, but I had forgotten. Like they even did a variant for number two.
They always did two. They did two covers for issues two
Was
back
it?
then.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
had forgetting about this, and they include their Dynamic Forces variant cover as well. on
Was
this.
that foil?
It must have been. It was.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in the wild,
There you go.
so I
Okay.
can't speak to it.
Yeah.
But that's what it looked
Yeah.
like. It's kind of
Hmm.
cool, but yeah.
Yeah.
Ron Garney, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about him one more time.
Mm.
Awesome, incredible.
Yeah, that was Marvel did that during the Heroes Return stuff. Every issue two was had two
Oh, did it?
covers.
See, that didn't even dawn
Yeah.
on me. I was like, geez, I don't know, man. Two variants. Anyway, you were just rallying against variants, which we seem to do very often, but I get it. But now that we are talking variants, thanks to you, you've done this, you set yourself up.
Dang it.
Because I want to pull back the curtain.
Okay.
You okay with that? I want to
Do it.
reveal to the viewing public, the Bada Binians out there, something truly incredible, special, and maybe never heard of before to all of mankind. And that is, last time out, we were mocking a variant that was featuring the visage of a Mr. Guy Fieri.
Never heard of
Never
him.
heard of him. And
Never
in
heard.
the week following, my friend Chris here has amazingly been able to fuse his name into various different forms of conversation, which I have been
Oh yeah.
completely mind blown over. And I was wondering if maybe you could show them just how you do such things, because where was it? Let me scroll up here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't because I'm so cloudy right now.
Oh,
I
you
don't
gonna blame
remember
this on
everything.
your nothingness?
On my illness, on my
We were
non-illness.
talking about
Yeah.
your power here. This is just last night.
Mm.
Jeez, we talk too much. Oh, I had mentioned I had mentioned something about us having a Bada Bin Julia Child variant,
Mm.
and you wrote back because quickly we're gonna get to him in a little bit in his Bada Babble segment. But Chris, you had sent you a recipe, so you wrote
Yes,
the
he
Guy
did.
Fieri's of the Galaxy anise cookies, and I wrote never say that out loud, and then you I was talking about the trash can nachos, and then you were coming up with various
Oh
hypothetical or
yes.
fake items that would be on Guy Fieri's menu.
Menu.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, this is even a new superpower. Not only can you
Mm-hmm.
fuse Guy Fieri into different super teams and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, you can also come up with these new items that he probably has never even conceptualized.
Mm-hmm. Not yet.
So if
Until
you're
now.
too cloudy and you can't do it, that's
Mm.
fine. But I was gonna say, can you hit us with any Guy Fieri word magic?
Oh, didn't I say bedpan
You
quesadillas?
did. This,
Yes, and dumpster
which sounds
tacos. Yeah.
disgusting, but can you fuse the
Hmm.
name Guy Fieri into anything live on air
Oh
to
boy,
astound our viewership, or do you need to research and work on that?
I might need to workshop it.
Okay, because you can blame, the whatever you got going on,
Mm.
and if I had to like look into like other times you've referenced it, because we text each other 100 times a day, I'd be scrolling
We'd
until
be scrolling a
yeah,
bit.
quite a bit. But you have hit me with a lot of Guy Fieri esque
Hmm.
infusions, if you will.
Got to keep them alive here, and what I do remember is that led us into a discussion of C and D list celebrities,
Yes,
and
right.
we brought up the Property Boys,
Yeah,
Yakov Smirnoff, of course, one
bulky.
of our favorites,
Yeah.
Balky, yes, Bronson
Uh
Pinchot,
huh.
and then the aforementioned Del Rubio
Yes.
triplets.
The Del Rubio triplets, to which you Googled and then I Googled, and I
Yep,
proclaimed we are going to put them on the least Googled list of 2025.
we're the only people to Google them in this decade, I'm
Oh,
sure.
guaranteed.
Oh
We
yeah,
popped
the
the
Del
cherry.
Rubio
We
triplets.
popped the cherry on
Yeah,
the Del Rubio triplets. We really did.
singing the Neutron dance and everything.
Yes. You sent me a photo of them, so you really
I did.
got in
I
there.
went above and beyond because I googled old lady triplet singers 1980s,
Yeah.
and there was them with Al Bundy.
But are they still
Yeah.
alive? We didn't do that amount of
Oh, we didn't.
research.
Oh man, that's basic.
Here we
Del
go.
Rubio
Here we go.
triplets.
The third Google search of 2025 for the Del
Yep.
Rubio triplets.
Sorry guys. Boy. We can't get them on their. Do you know their names?
I do not know.
Edie,
Okay.
Elena, and Millie.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be
Oh.
surprised if one of them was named Ethel. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, they were born in 1921.
Okay.
Oh wow, they died pretty far apart.
Wow.
Edie died December 16th, 1996. Elena died March 19th, 2001. And Millie died July 21st, 2011.
Get out of Dodge.
Yeah, she almost made it to the new 52.
Can you believe someone out there right now watching this? You should probably check our
Hmm.
comments.
Hmm.
Is like, I have been hungering, lusting for some
Hmm.
Del Rubio triplets
Trivia.
trivia,
Hmm.
and no one has been able to provide that for me until I stuck with
That's why you come here.
these old fogies on this Bada Bin program.
That's why you come to us.
We will hit you with some facts, bro.
Hmm.
And actually, since you're looking at your stuff,
Del Rubio's forever.
yeah, right. I am actually awaiting my comic shipment,
Hey,
and it hasn't come yet. I'm really hoping it happens live on
on
air,
the
so I can
air.
just cut
Can you
open that
imagine?
box in front of everybody and be like, "Look,
Could you
look
imagine?
at more stuff I have." But it's still out for delivery in Arlington, Texas, at 10:37 a.m. It's now 1:11 Central, so it might not
Hmm.
happen. So maybe save
Hmm.
for next week. But you know what will happen right now, because you are on your
What's that?
computer as we speak. What do you
Hmm.
say? Are you down for a little bada babble?
Yes, because I actually just opened the
There
email
we go. What
box.
are we
How
waiting
about that?
for?
Let's do the thing here.
Yes,
And did is
it
the
is.
new
We
image
have a
out?
new logo because we have a friend of the program, Chris Yu, who always sends us thoughtful and
Hmm.
comprehensive emails and comments and what have you. And so we figured it would be apt and just
Hmm.
to name the segment in his honor. I would
Yep.
say akin to DC Comics Presents.
Hmm. Or Stan Lee
Here we
presents.
go. Even
There you
better.
go.
Even better. There you go.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we have Chris Yu Presents Bada Babble.
There we go.
Yes.
Yes. And let's get into it here.
Awesome.
This was sent December 29,
Okay.
so last year, all the way last year
Hey.
ago. But before I get into this message, I wanted to thank Chris and Mrs. Yu for the anise cookies recipe, which I actually received on my birthday a week ago today.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting in a brunch place when the email came in, and my first instinct was, I want to go home and bake these, but I realized how sad it would be to bake Christmas cookies after Christmas.
Why? Cookies a
Oh,
cookie, man.
everything Christmas is sad after Christmas.
No.
That's how I feel.
How is delicious not delicious depending on the date?
I don't know. I don't know that it would be any less delicious. It's just the spirit, the scent.
Yet,
Yeah, the scent in the
you could
house.
easily call them Guy Fieri of the Galaxy
I could.
anise
I could.
cookies. Shame
Mm-hmm.
on you. Shame, shame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They are going to be. What other things do you put trash in? Is trash can, dumpster? I guess bedpan. They toilet cook. Now toilet cookies sounds really
What are you
gross.
talking about? Don't do that. Don't dishonor the cookie.
Yeah, that's a, yeah. We don't want to do
No,
that.
you
We don't
dishonor
want to do
Guy
that.
Fieri, not the cookie.
Yeah,
Leave the cookie alone. Come on now.
we'll get
All
there.
right.
We'll get there. But yes, I wanted to thank him and his wife for sending that recipe, and I will be making them next year when it wouldn't be depressing to make Christmas
Okay.
cookies. After
So the
Christmas.
jury is still out.
Yes, the jury is out, and it looks like a semi-finicky recipe too, like where it has to like sit for a certain amount of time, and I like those tricky recipes, so we'll see.
Not me. I'm the kind of guy who just opens a can of beefaroni and let's party.
We made these chai tea cookies for Christmas, and my wife is a big Taylor Swift fan, and this is like her cookie, her signature cookie. And it was like, don't look at it sideways. Put it over here for 5 minutes. Move it to the other side of the room for 3 minutes. Like, oh my God, what's with? They're like so temperamental. They were tasty
Hey,
though.
real quick, can I
Hmm.
kind of rant about something? Because you got me started. This is your fault.
Please, I'm
Taylor
sorry.
Swift has a cookie.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Like, I have a cookie. Nobody cares about my cookie. I like peanut butter cookies.
Hmm.
Am I give a crap? No, because I'm a nobody, right? But
Hmm.
what's up with the
Hmm.
official blank of? So if you're a vodka company, you're the
Hmm.
official vodka of the
Yakov Smirnoff.
yeah, or the New York Knicks. I'm just going to use
Hmm.
sports teams here for an example because
Sure.
I hear it all the time. We're the official personal injury lawyers
Hmm.
of the Boston Celtics. Like, when did all these sponsorships for these
The
random...
official chili dog of curb music.
Yes! Well, that one makes more logical sense, but you get my drift.
With the official sausage of Dan Slott.
Yeah, right. With the official supply of Raisinets for Dan Slott. So anyway, WB Mason.
With the official accountant of. Oh, no.
Yeah, no. We'll leave him alone. But you get my drift. When did this start happening? Why do we allow this? And what, like, really, who stops and goes, I'm thinking about a personal injury attorney, but, I really want to...
Who do the Knicks use?
Yeah, exactly. I want to go with the guys that the Dallas Cowboys use. Like, what? What does that matter? Where does this endorsement ring so heavy or true that it's necessary?
It's all about that sponsorship money.
But why? Who allowed this?
Know.
There should be a law.
Like, you remember when our stadiums used to be named really cool things?
Yeah.
And now they're named after, like, insurance companies and banks. And,
you get a point there. But, I mean, literally anything. It could be the official bouncy ball of, the official tampon of, I mean, on and anything. Any item you can.
Oh, yeah.
The official freaking gym socks of. I mean, seriously. But again, my whole thing always and will always be, who does that sway?
Well, with influencing as a culture now.
And that's sick. It's wrong. I hate the term
scary.
Influencer. I didn't mention this earlier. Yeah. I think it should be an insult, not a credit. Like, I think I told you the story about a beer commercial I saw with my son on the side of a truck. And there's a celebrity holding a beer, and I said, son, I bet you that celebrity never had a sip of that beer. But there's some idiot out there who's going to go, oh, that's so-and-so's beer. Yeah. I want to drink that.
That's the guy who plays Deadpool's beer.
I want to drink that beer. Yeah. But anyway, off to Chris Hughes' email. I'm sorry. I just needed a second to let all that hot air out of my head.
It happens. It happens. They built a stadium here for the Cardinals years ago, and they were going to name it. They put it up for, like, sponsorship. And there's a restaurant out here that was trying to raise money to get their name on the stadium.
I think I remember this. Was this a taco place?
Pink Taco.
Pink Taco, yeah.
Yeah, Pink Taco Stadium, which for years after the fact, all the radio hosts still called it the Pink Taco Stadium.
Why shouldn't they?
There you go. There you go.
All right.
And, I mean, don't Google that.
Yeah. Lay off of that one there, buddy.
Anyway, into the email here. Hello, Badabinshow. Another great episode this week. It was fun to see the roles reversed with Chris asking the questions and Dave giving the answers with the price guide is right. She really shows off that you both possess a wellspring of comic book knowledge. Sadly for me, I did not get a single price right while listening to the questions, and I wouldn't have gotten them right with 100 guesses. I have been out of the back issue buying game for far too long. I was shocked at just about every price those books were selling for. The next time you do this game, I want to know the value of Heroes in Crisis #1.
Oh, ay, caramba.
Well, now that we're here, let's see here. Let me see if I can find the same price guide I used last week.
My guess is going to be, and listen, I think it's worth nothing.
It's garbage.
Absolute trash. But I'll make an official guess once you find it.
Hold on, not yet. I'm gonna make sure like we're getting like the right thing here. Heroes in Crisis. Okay.
All right. You ready?
Wow. Okay, wait. I'm not even at the price guide yet.
All right.
Like I'm at the search results here. Heroes in Crisis was like what, 9 issues?
Yeah, something like that.
There are 32 issues in the price guide here. That's how many variants there are.
Hey man, gotta have that cover Y.
Oh lordy. All right, so Heroes in Crisis #1 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 covers.
Okay.
What do you think cover A was worth?
Well, let me cue up some music here.
Yeah.
Okay, cover A, Heroes in Crisis. What is it worth? My official guess, and this is only because they can't say 0. And they can't say $1. So I'm going to say $2.50.
What's our border of
$1?
What's our margin here? Low.
Really? Do I get 3 tries?
Here, I'll help you out here. Cover price was $3.99.
Yeah. All right then, $3.99.
$4.
All right, great. I was just thinking it's like anywhere you go, it's gonna like online, if you're going to buy it online, it's going to be $2.50. Otherwise, what's the point of anybody even listing something? You know what I
Right.
mean? All right, well, hey, there you go, Chris. You got it. And that was an impromptu edition
It was.
of the Price Guide is Right.
Are you playing
I
music?
was.
Okay, I didn't want to speak over it. I always do
Yeah,
that.
sorry.
And as a matter of fact, there are 9 issues of Heroes in Crisis. They are all worth $4.
All of them, huh?
Yeah, so they're cover price. If anybody wants to charge you more than cover price for Heroes in Crisis number 1 through 9,
Yeah.
kick them in the
Yeah,
nuts.
please. Hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Chris continues. I thank you for including my sweet spot book in the price guide. Hearing that book's title and seeing Chris's autographed gift from Dave made me think of the one actual physical comic book I still own. When I first had nostalgia bring me back to comics, I wanted to own a copy of my all-time favorite issue. And when I searched the eBays, I came across a copy of Tales of the Teen Titans number 50, signed by Marv Wolfman, George Perez, Dick Giordano, and Mike DiCarlo, with certificates of authenticity for each signature. I had to buy it, and that's my one actual comic and my one autographed comic. That's pretty cool to have, your favorite issue signed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, and it makes me want to get my my Uncanny X-Men 308 signed by Scott Lobdell and John Romita Jr. I wonder if I'll ever be able to get that done. That's got to exist out there, right?
Already autographed?
I wonder.
Absolutely. I was going to say,
Yeah.
like, meeting them and getting it autographed, probably more difficult than finding one that's already been autographed. And
I don't know if Scott Lobdell even goes to cons anymore.
the only reason why I'm even suggesting that is because now everything has to be like a signature series because people encase them in carbonite. So it's like they don't, I don't know, man. Like they have like gatherings where you go and the CGC person's right there to watch them autograph something. So
Yeah. Let's see here. eBay. It's all signed by Scott Lobdell. There's one signed by John Romita. One signed by Dan Green. I guess he was the
inker. Must have been
inker.
the inker, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, weird.
We'll buy all three and just keep them.
Yeah, and I'll meld them together.
Exactly, right?
I'll shoot them into the Phantom.
Yeah, there you go.
Chris continues.
Okay.
I made my wife a devoted fan of the Food Network and my 26-year-old son watch your reveal of the Guy Fieri variant cover. They both groaned when they saw it. It must be a universal phenomenon that crosses all ages, genders, and fan bases that nobody likes the proliferation of Guy Fieri. Now, I had a less personal guttural reaction than you.
Yeah.
Because you have a stronger distaste.
Yeah, I think the man's a fraud.
I just think he's annoying looking.
Okay.
I don't know anything about him. I don't think I've ever watched anything with him. Outside of like sitting like waiting for an oil change to be done or waiting in a doctor's office with it muted with subtitles. I think that's the only Guy Fieri exposure I have.
And listen, he'd probably put a cigar out on my forehead and be like, whatever, loser. You know how many mansions I have by being a fraud? Do you know how many generations that follow me are going to be wealthy because I'm a fraud? You know?
There you go.
I'm going to go, yeah, Guy, but whatever, man. I may be broke, but I have two things. I have my integrity, and I get all these action figures. Suck it, Blondie.
and I get to say I'm not Guy
That's
Fieri.
right. Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Winner.
The most important thing.
Right.
Chris continues. I've been keeping up with the Tom Taylor Detective Comics run. I'm surprised they haven't followed up on the Joe Chill reveal in parts 2 or 3. Otherwise, it's fine. Bruce trying to fight off the ravages of aging with a performance-enhancing procedure kind of reminds me of the Venom storyline from the early days of Legends of the Dark Knight. But the story has me wanting to see it through to the end. My guess is that the Joe Chill reveal will bookend the story. Now, I'm sure it will. Because the way they ended it in the first part, I'm guessing it'll come back around to it. And it is interesting that I gave it so much credit for being original with the Joe Chill reveal without mentioning how derivative the story is of that Venom story. Because you're not following this one, right?
No, I didn't sub.
Okay, yeah, it's as Chris puts it here. Bruce is feeling age, so he is undergoing this kind of an anti-aging procedure. And like he even brings Superman in to confer like whether or not he should do it. And Superman's like, yeah, do it. He's like, more Batman's good. You know, if you live longer, it's all the better for the world. So he decides to go through with it. So yeah, it is pretty derivative of Venom. I guess it remains to be seen if it's going to have bad effects. I'm guessing it will, but we'll get there when we get there. Chris continues. I've read issue 3 of Absolute Batman, and the last page reveal intrigued me. I haven't read it yet. I'm not sure if it's a swerve in the story or a swerve on the reader. I don't want to think it's just a zig when you expect a zag, but it could be. Now, I without spoiling it, did you read issue 3?
I did.
What did you think of the reveal?
Okay. Let me think, so I'm not spoiler-y when I explain it. He is given an option, and I think it's obvious the choice that's going to be made. Put it that way. I'm not very excited about it. I can see why someone who reads it goes, yeah, this could be a major turning point for this character who we don't really know a whole hell of a lot about yet. I get it.
Sure.
But I initially, just surface, I think is fairly predictable.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to let you all know when I think my books will be here probably in like 2 or 3 weeks.
I have been checking my tracking. Now, mind you, off air we talked about something I ordered that I'm not going to talk about this week. I guarantee to talk about it.
Maybe we can hint about it, because I think this is I also want to put it out there for anybody who has stories about these sort of orders.
Okay.
And their experiences with them. Before we get into the nitty gritty.
All right, let me hijack the email segment then real quick.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Recently, and I think because I don't do resolutions, anything like that, I opted for a take 2 segment. I don't know, man. I kind of had a post midlife crisis, and I was assessing where I was, what I've achieved, everything else, and dreams I had in my youth or when I was a little bit younger, and how I've never really gone the full distance to try to achieve them. I've dabbled, what have you. So I actually ordered an instructional book on how to do something. And I got it on sale, yet again, because I'm a cheapskate. And I was going to wait until next week to show you what it was and kind of explain the motives and reasons behind it. But yeah, I think it's okay to tease. Has anybody else out there bought something that was instructional on to do something because you kind of got fed up with your own damn self and said, now or never, man. Bleep or get off the pot, unless you're in Buc-ee's and you can sit there for a half an hour and be amazed by the cleanliness.
Yeah, sit in the urinal and be happy with it. Yeah.
Hands on knees, man. Hey, how you doing?
What's up, buddy?
I'm a sociable kind of guy. What can I say? Reading all that handwriting, all that graffiti in the bathroom stall doesn't appeal to me anymore. I've called all the numbers.
Half of them are mine.
I want to talk face to face. All right, as we were, did you want to kind of offer that out there? Like, if anybody's had any experience?
Yeah, I mean, if there's stuff you wanted to do in life and you decided that you want to make that change and try to do it. It could be something creative. It could be something life-changing. It could be whatever, vocational. We want to hear about it because we also want to hear about the experience that comes along with it. Because I think, not to get on resolutions here, resolutions start full of piss and vinegar. I'm sure tens of thousands of gym memberships were sold this week. Right?
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of pairs of yoga pants were sold this week.
Yeah.
And this time next week, it's not going to be the same. So we order things. We see things on the cheap. We pick them up in hopes to improve some part of our life or fill a hole that's glaringly there. And, some of it's on us. Some of it's on the thing we buy. How helpful it is, how insightful it is, how motivated we are, how much stick-to-itiveness we have. So that's kind of what we want to hear. And we'll get into the specifics next time.
Yeah, absolutely, because I'll have something to show. And I do.
And I got plenty of the same to show.
And I also got to admit, you mentioned the yoga pants, all the different things. New Year's hit me too, so I signed up for the official weight loss program of Shelley Duvall. And, we'll see how that works out for me in the long run, but fingers crossed.
You're skeletal.
Yes, indeed.
Okie dokie. Back to Chris
Please.
Yu. He said he saw that Absolute Martian Manhunter is going to be a psychological horror title. The plot tease I read makes it seem like they're going to go more Vertigo, a more Vertigo vibe with this title, which seems interesting to me. Who's writing that one again? I know we ask this every damn week.
Dennis Camp.
Was that Lemire?
That's going to be Dennis Camp, who's going to be writing Martian Manhunter.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, I know the most recent thing on his credits was the new Ultimate Universe one shot from Marvel, so he's
Okay.
working for the big two.
All right. Okie dokie. Chris continues, since I'm not very familiar with Al Ewing, I'm going to give Absolute Green Lantern a shot. The plot point of a large lantern falling from the sky and crushing a small town is so far removed from traditional GL lore that I need to see where they're going to go with it. Now, we haven't really talked about Al Ewing besides the fact that...
I don't like him.
Yeah.
Well, it's never...
Do you care to elaborate?
It's just never on a personal level with any of these creators, and I hope everybody understands, maybe it's our East Coast nature, that we do a lot of these things in jest, and we do a lot, ribbing and joking, ball busting, if you will.
Breaking
balls. But the thing is when you can turn me off really, really easy though too, man.
Sure.
And with him in particular, when he was doing those auto blocks, or I forget the exact terminology,
the blockchain
on Twitter. So if there was even a mention of something, automatic block. And I understand, hey man, maybe you don't want racist diatribes in your timeline. I totally get it. I wouldn't either.
Sure.
But when you create something, and we live in an age where you can reach out and contact creators, praise them. I mean, honestly, they get crapped on a lot too. I get it, but still, the communication there, you would think is an important part of your job.
Yeah, because nobody's following you on any social media because of who you are. It's who you work for.
True.
Right.
When
you're in the comics field, you work for Marvel or DC. That's why people are following you.
And some of my dislike for Al Ewing isn't even Al Ewing's fault. It's a lot of the hype that was surrounding Immortal Hulk, for example.
Okay.
And how revolutionary of a concept it was when it's been done before. I guess this kind of ties into your Detective Comics thing with Venom a little bit as well. Because at first you're like, wow, look at this. And then you stop and you go, whoa, we've been here.
Been done
that. Done that. Been there, done that. Sorry. Can't speak. But even though I can't speak, I won't block you on social media. So anyway, all of that together just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I didn't care for his work either. So I guess that's part 3 of the whole equation. So nothing personal. I'm not saying he's not talented. It's just my own preference, my own taste and distaste for behaviors and things of that nature. So that's where that whole thing comes from. But hey, man, if you want to dig into Al Ewing, you go gaga crazy. No disrespect. No judgment for me whatsoever. It's just he's not my cup of tea,
Yeah. I remember with those block things, because a lot of people were trying to write to him and say how much they loved his Hulk, and they couldn't, and then they found out they were blocked for whatever reason, and that just made me think, as a fake ass content creator myself, if anybody out there wanted to reach me and they found out I blocked them for no reason, I mean that's. I don't know.
Well,
weird.
I think the other thing is those blockchains didn't necessarily work perfectly. So even though you might have put certain keywords or something in there to keep people away, I do specifically remember there were examples where someone was just, exactly trying to praise him, but they might have used one word that seems similar to another word. And I'm talking out of my butt cheeks here because I don't really know anything about the algorithms or how it necessarily works.
Me either.
But they were getting blocked.
But there was this weirdness.
They were getting.
There was a weirdness.
So it was just blocking just about everybody. It's at that point, what's the point of even doing it? Why even have a social media account? Just close them.
Yeah, just shut it down.
Just shut it down. Do your own thing, and there's no harm in that either. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's your life.
Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want to do, either which way.
Exactly.
But I don't know, man.
Because he entered the X-Lapsed world when he wrote Sword. And I remember the lead up to that, because it's I would do X-Lapsed had 400 episodes. So we talked about a lot of stuff. And I remember just saying, I might have a bias against this guy, but X-Lapsed was an all or nothing show. So it's everything got covered. Awful issues of Excalibur got covered. Awful issues of this got covered. Great issues of this got covered. Everything got covered. So I was like, well, I can't just leave a book out. But beforehand, I'm like, hey, this dude was kind of a tool online. I don't know. I hope I can separate, him from his work. And it turned out that Sword was a fantastic book.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I hate to say I like this, but I do. It showed me that I could be objective, which is,
Important.
I think so,
Yeah.
it's important. And it's something that I think comic fans get a lot of shit for, not being objective. So it's like, okay, I did it.
Yeah.
Very
And
good.
who's to say I wouldn't sit down and have a coffee with the guy and have a great conversation and really enjoy his company? I don't know that.
Potential. Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't know.
He,
Don't know.
I mean, he might have raced into a burning building and saved a bunch of orphans. I don't know.
Potential.
I just don't know. It's just, again, those little behaviors and little things initially that kind of turned me off to the guy, and then I wasn't a fan of his books either. So,
And I tried a little bit of Immortal Hulk, but I didn't see what it was. I didn't see the hype. I didn't get it. But what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Not everybody else can't be wrong.
right.
Let's see here. Chris wraps up with a big thanks to Dave for the Silver Spoon Serenade.
Wonderful.
There we go.
He's the only person who appreciates my singing,
It's true.
my
It's
crooning. Yeah, so
Mhm.
nice to hear.
Yeah.
I'll save those for special occasions, though, much like the anise cookies.
Yeah, gotta be in the mood.
It's gotta hit you, bro.
The scent.
Yeah, exactly.
The scent that fills the house. You can't have a Christmas scent in the house after Christmas.
You can. But anyway, different strokes for different folks, which is another theme song that maybe I could start singing on the spur of the moment.
The world don't move to the beat of just one.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, everybody will always remember the bike shop episode.
Gordon Jump.
Which is, yeah, I know, right? From WKRP in Cincinnati.
The Maytag repairman.
Yeah. And he also terrible, terrible child molester. So anyway,
those mice have no pants.
I never really cared for Mr. Jump because he used a blockchain and he molested those kids in the bike shop on an episode.
I know what
Different strokes.
What's wrong with that?
I really couldn't follow him after that. I'm sorry, so I'm not a fan of his work. So yeah, there you go.
Is Gordon Jump still alive?
I highly doubt it. There we go. I hear you clicking and clacking away.
Yep. Oh wow, he's been dead a long time.
Oh really? When did he pass?
September 22nd, 2003.
Oh boy, that has been quite a while.
Yeah, he died at 71. I could have sworn he was 71 during different strokes.
Yeah, right. That's the case with all those old actors, man. You looking at me like, geez.
I know, dude. It's like I know Cheers ain't your thing, but like there are those memes. It's like the first season of Cheers, like Norm was 34.
Yeah.
It's like there's no way Norm is 10 years younger than me then.
Yeah.
And Cliff was 33. It's like that is ridiculous. They're old people.
I think it all kicked off with like Wilford Brimley and in Cocoon.
Yeah, because wasn't he like in his mid-40s?
Something like that. And it was like he was younger than I am now.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? Holy.
The cliche poster boy for old man was 40.
And he looked like he was 150. So
he at least he was breathing dust.
That was some of that. I was gonna say like 80s living, but even then he grew up in a generation where doctors were endorsing cigarettes in commercials.
Yeah.
The official cigarette company of Dr. Heimlich
of the pink taco.
Yeah, exactly. Camel. Yeah.
The black lung sponsor of.
You know, I smoked a lot when I was too young, and back in the day, this is in the 90s. I'm sorry. Camel would give away items with, like, you didn't even have to mail away for them. You could get like a 3-pack of Camels, and inside would be like this windbreaker compressed. And you could cut open the thing and pop it out, and you had a windbreaker. Yay! You collect Camel cash, all that stuff.
And like were there Marlboro Miles?
Yeah,
or something?
they all had their little rewards programs, right?
Yeah.
And,
the addiction's not enough.
Yeah. But I'll never forget my buddy Dan and me. We go for a little hike, and he just got his Camel windbreaker, and he lights up a Camel, and like a little dude, tiny little cinder flies off, lands on the windbreaker. The thing immediately lit on fire. And he's like, Jesus Christ, oh my God. And I'm like, dude, take it off. And I was like, you gotta be so irresponsible to put the most hazardous, flammable windbreaker in a pack, like with a 3-pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But true story, man. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And Dan's face of absolute horror. He thought he was going to burn alive. This windbreaker. He still had to pull it off over his head too.
Poor guy's on a spit.
Oh
yeah.
my god, those are the good old days, right? We can talk about usually old timers. Yeah, I remember the days without seatbelts. Oh yeah, you remember the days that cigarette companies were giving away flammable windbreakers with their product? I don't think so. I do. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
a Camel and an OK Cola.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, smoking. And, I smoked for a long, long time. I vape now, as you well know. I'm a big vaper.
Sure.
I endorse vaping.
Is that the official vape of Dave Schultz and the Bada Bin
Well,
Show?
here's the thing, and it's something I don't really like talking about because there is a problem with kids vaping, right? I would never, ever, 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 ever in a million years say pick up vaping if you've never smoked before. But if you want to quit smoking, you should always vape. Always. If that's a part of your life that you just can't quit, vape instead of smoke. So, like my own son, if he ever vaped, I'd be pissed.
Sure.
Not for the health reason.
Starting from
it's
zero.
Just why pick up something you don't need? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As we just talked about this earlier. Why pick up things you don't need? But I mean, still, why are you ingesting or imbibing or putting something in your body? But yeah, if you smoke, definitely vape. And I'm at the point now, and this is what I want to get at initially. If I smell a cigarette, it makes me nauseous.
Well, I've always been like that. Ugh.
I grew up in a house of smokers. Like
me too.
Like my whole life was smoking. Everybody in my family smoked, so I started smoking really young.
All the electronics were yellow.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Just unbelievable. And now it's like if I walk by someone on their cigarette break, I'm like, bleh, bleh.
Yeah.
And I smoked for over 20 years. I mean, like 2 packs a day.
Dang. Oh,
dude,
Jesus.
I was a heavy smoker, man. And it was genetic. It was, it was passed down on me by the previous generations, just always living in a...
Just there, yeah.
In a haze of smoke, so...
Mm.
And vape companies do not give out free swag with the purchase.
Not yet.
Yeah, well, no, there's a lot of bans on vaping, to which I understand, to curb yet again children from partaking in it, but at the same time, consenting adults.
Because it tastes good, right? I mean, there's flavors. I'm not familiar with it.
All right, well, I'll give you a quick summary then, and what the big problem is.
Give us the bio.
Well, here's the reason why a lot of it gets banned is because unscrupulous manufacturers of e-liquids will name them things that are appealing to kids, or because they can get away with it, they will kind of rip off a name brand product like Fruit Loops or a cereal or something. They'll name their product almost the same thing, like Fruit Whoops instead of Fruit Loops.
Fruit Rings.
Yeah, exactly. It's much like when I would go to Mexico and I'd see restaurants called like Kiss Burger or Breaking Burger. You get sued for that if you open that in the United States. But it's a whole marketing to kids thing, which is bad. Not all companies did it, but the big players in the vaping industry did in fact do that, and that's how they rose to prominence and power. And they, of course, deserve to be shut down for that reason alone. But unfortunately, with anything...
It's predatory.
It is very predatory. Unfortunately, with anything, it becomes a blanket problem, right? They're like, well, these two did something wrong, so everybody should pay the price.
Everybody.
Right. Kind of to, I guess, bring it back to like the 80s. If one person was caught drinking at the beach and caused a fight, then the next thing you know, you get a sign saying, no drinking at the beach.
Bottles, yeah.
And I only say that because in the 80s, everybody drank at the beach. I remember that fondly. But, so that's the whole deal with vaping. As far as the health and what have you, the jury is still out in a lot of the full-time effects. But what I will tell you, as someone who's not the most intelligent human being, but I do believe in the basic principles of common sense, if you look at the ingredients of a cigarette and you start seeing chemicals they use to embalm bodies and various things that you would never, ever dream of consensually ingesting.
You wouldn't put it on your plate.
You would not eat it, correct. If someone said, here's some cyanide, yay! Yeah. But if you looked at the ingredients on a label of e-liquid, there's like 3 ingredients in it, nicotine, glycol, whatever, and, that's about it. It's like... So, I mean, it passes the eye test for me, and also, and I'm in no way endorsing this, I'm sorry if you're not in the same situation I was in, but I can tell you that I feel way better than I ever did when I was smoking 2 packs a day. So
I believe that.
I don't stink anymore, and all the other side effects which are negative and terrible. This is really weird because I did not anticipate talking about this on the program today or potentially ending the show with it. So,
could your vaping line up with your scent beads?
ooh, wouldn't that be an intriguing thing?
There you go, full
I
circle.
don't know if I'd want it to. I think variety is the spice of life. No.
There you go. You don't want it to taste like scent beads.
No, yeah, separation of church and state there, maybe just a little bit, but yeah, I'm just saying, just if you see someone vaping, don't damn them. But if you see a kid smoking, vaping, grab the damn thing. What's the matter with you, kiddo? You're not even old enough to vote.
Snap it in half.
Yeah, exactly. Or give it to me. I don't know, whatever. Just something. But yeah, but if you don't have a habit, don't pick up a habit you don't need. If you already have the habit, and you want to nix it. You can always transition into something else, right?
Sure.
It's like if I ever want to quit collecting, I might just experience a new world of tantric sex.
There you go. I'm thinking about the predatory practices when we were growing up, where everything changed to blue raspberry.
Oh,
they knew where to get us.
Yeah,
they discovered blue raspberry.
What is a blue raspberry?
Low pops.
We don't know.
Never seen.
No.
Never seen
It's
one.
like
and sometimes they'd be really cool, and it'd be just blue raz with 2 Z's. It'd be like a gang in no man's land. The blue raz.
Raz boys. Do you want to know my favorite flavor of e-liquid?
Yeah.
Blue raz.
Well, oh man, I was gonna guess.
No, sorry. I just blurted it out. Where's my Bada Blurt logo? But yeah, no, that's my jam. But yeah, no, you're right. Create something that doesn't really exist, but we're all hooked on it later. It's like Code Red. Yeah. What the hell is Code Red? I don't know, but it's Mountain Dew's most popular flavor.
Yeah, it's NyQuil.
Right?
Right. We got our man Chris Yu in the comments here.
What does he got?
He said the altered Bada Babble graphic was a wonderful gift for me today on my 53rd birthday.
Hey!
Happy birthday!
Happy friggin' birthday! Look at that. We had no idea.
Does that make him a fellow Capricorn, or is that over?
I don't know. I didn't even know you were a Capricorn. I don't follow other people's signs, only my own.
I don't even know what are you a Leo?
No, I'm a Gemini, man.
Gemini, yeah, because my wife is she's born on the 21st, so she's a Gemini Cancer. She's on the cusp.
Oh, pick one.
Yeah.
Pick a side.
Yeah. So let's see here, January 3rd, Zodiac. He's a Capricorn.
Wow.
We are both Capricorns.
Read his horoscope. It probably says you're about to be surprised by something on YouTube today.
Let's find out.
Yeah, there we go. Let's read his horoscope.
Okay, horoscope today. This is from the Hindustan Times.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I don't want to read the full story. I just want
just give the quickie wham bam thank you, ma'am.
Let's see here. What the hell? Capricorn? Oh God, this thing's like 400 words. Come on. I want the easy. Where's the newspaper one?
Know.
The Austin Chronicle. Okay, Capricorn today. You're the most pragmatic sign of the zodiac and are the most highly skilled at getting constructive things done. It's also true that you thrive on organizing the chaotic details of our messy world into smooth functioning systems. But I periodically need to remind you that these superpowers of yours require you to nurture a vigorous and rigorous imagination. All of what you ultimately accomplish originates in the fantasy realm. This will be especially crucial for you to keep in mind during 2025. So maybe all those special books that we're ordering are gonna.
I didn't understand a lick of it.
Help us out.
I don't know what the hell they were talking about. So
they're saying to be creative.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Yeah,
yes.
Do that. Start painting.
What about you, Dave? You're a Gemini.
Yeah.
In 2025, dear Gemini, I invite you to make ample use of at least 5 of the following 11 tactics.
What?
Number
What?
1.
Are you serious? No, don't read all that.
Yes.
No need.
Number 1, you have to shatter the mold.
Yeah, okay.
Number 2, defy the conventions. Number 3, challenge the norms.
Right.
4, redefine the that's the same shit.
Oh, okay.
5, disrupt the status quo. You got to be a disruptor.
Sure.
6, defy old rules and create new ones. 7, go against the flow and against the grain. 8, bushwhack through frontiers. 9, you gotta lick people's heads. 9, dance to unfamiliar rhythms.
Yeah.
10, search for curious treasures. And 11, change the way you change.
Okay.
There's like one of those Zen things, right? Where you gotta where it doesn't make sense, you gotta sit with it for a while. Change the way you change.
I'm gonna percolate a little bit.
You gotta let it do the thing here. You make coffee differently.
Yeah.
You stir your soup backwards. Everything you want to do. You have to be opposite George this year.
Okay. That's easy.
Yeah,
Sure. No problem.
yeah. You got to do a
What are my
Costanza.
lucky numbers? That's all I care about. Give me the fortune cookie version.
I don't know. There were no lucky
Man, this
numbers there.
place is bunk.
Lucky numbers are hooey. This
Hooey.
this is the real stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's poppycock.
All right. Can you also Google how tall Dan Slott is by any chance while you're? Dude, I'm sorry. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you know what we've is all right. How the sausage is made. That is a legitimate Google search, and me and Chris have discussed it off air, and we've been meaning to talk about it on air.
Hmm.
But I think we should put a pin in it
Hmm.
and maybe save it for next week because there's more to
What,
it
what
than meets
comes
the
up?
eye.
It is. What comes up is why are some comics pros so damn abrasive?
Okay.
Dan Slott is notorious for how badly he treats his readers.
Oh, who wrote that?
This is a Substack
Oh, all right. Oh.
by Bill Willingham. That's the Fables
Yeah,
guy, right?
I thought, well, this is Bill Willingham Jr. or 3 or someone different. I mean, it must be a lot of Bill Willinghams. But you are correct. There's also a writer of Fables named Bill Willingham.
Yeah.
So is there some inside gossip going on here? Or have we just stumbled into something even more of a
we might have
nefarious?
some we might have some hot goss here to sift through and come back to after we take the pin out of
Okay.
it.
How many chili dogs
Yes.
can Kurt Busiek eat in one sitting? Google.
1.5.
He savors them, sons of bitches. He savors them. We should actually talk about that more in depth too, but we won't because we need to hit the road. I mean, I do. I have a son who's still on school vacation who needs to eat.
True that.
Who is literally a waif in the other room, much like Shelley Duvall, waiting for me to reheat some form of my wife's cooking so he can sustain his life. So
He's a growing
he
boy.
is. Oh, Jesus, don't remind me. He's as tall as I am, for crying out loud.
New shoes, new pants. Get him
Yeah,
now.
you ain't kidding. Yeah, but that's a topic yet again for not this show. No, not at all. But I do want to, unless you got anything else to add, I do want to.
No. I mean, we're reading horoscopes and Dan Slott's height. I think we're done.
And talking about flammable windbreakers and vaping and all this other stuff. So we're probably gonna be on some kind of ban list.
And Buc-ee's
Yeah, right.
and,
So, well,
Al Ewing already.
I
hates
hope you
us.
enjoyed this pulse pounding installment of Bada Bin Show. But I do want to thank everybody for taking the time to either tune in during the live stream
Absolutely.
or in the future. Virtual hugs for all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. I think we'll be back next week, hopefully.
What are we looking like next week? Because I'm gone from Thursday on.
Oh boy, that's going to be tough for me because
Yeah.
I work for a living. I'm not independently wealthy, and I am working all week. So maybe we could do a Bada Bin after dark,
Okay.
maybe a little impromptu sesh during the
like it.
evening. We might have to do that just to make sure we crank one out next week.
Yeah, we'll
Excuse me.
We'll bring Omaha the cat dancer in here. We'll do all the after dark
I
stuff.
would prefer. I don't know how busy you would be, and this is so weird. We always talk about this at the end of the show on air, but I think Wednesday might work best for me.
Okay.
But hey, just throwing it out there. Keep it. You know, when we're chatting via text and you're Guy Fieriing and everything else, we'll figure that out. But is there anything else you want to add before I hit the button to the end screen and we go our separate ways for the day?
No, it's all good.
All right then. We're out of here. Thanks a bunch. See you later.
See ya.